Arizona Wildcats basketball. This is Wildcats Radio, 1290.
Bradley, left wing, Aristotle, baseline jumper, Pete, good again.
That guy is feeling it. The turnaround jump shot. Colorado defensively, no one that can match up one-on-one.
Koa has 12 with the Wildcats 14. Pump fake the three. His ball, tip, grabbed by Karchinkov. Another steal for Yvonne. Head to Burry's the other way. Burry streaking down all the way to the bucket. Laid up and good. Inside, Trevis, pump fake, jump hook up, no good. Follow there for Koa Pete. Streaking down the lane. And Pete now with 21 points in the ball game. Rebound tip and loose, grabbed by Awaka, and a new 20 to shoot. To Pete, to Aristotle. Inside Awaka, wide open, lays it in.
Great vision from Dwayne Aristotle as Tobe Awaka slipped free.
Throw it right corner, Karchinkov for three, got it! Ivan Karchinkov with Alexis of Tucson charity three. The Wildcats have hit 4 triples here in the second half.
In as many attempts, and Karchinkov gets off the schneid.
With 10 seconds to go, and the Wildcats will dribble it out and set a school record with their 29th regular season win. Big 12 champions are headed to Kansas City with a 6-game winning streak as the Cats win here in Boulder. Arizona 89, Colorado 79, the final.
And your number 2 Wildcats will look for a 7th consecutive victory as they open up play in Kansas City. Like you heard the voice Brian Jeffries say, it is the Big 12 quarterfinals this afternoon, although we are starting with breakfast here for your Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Welcome to the show. My name is David Kelly. I've got Kelvin Efon with me today. I also have J.W. Madden, and we've got you for the next 3 hours of the show. We'll take you right up to 11:30 and network coverage with Brian Jeffries and Ryan Hansen. Basketball Wednesday in Kansas City as the Wildcats will try to win their first ever Big 12 tournament championship after becoming the Big 12 regular season champions for the first time this year. All right, let's let you know what we've got coming up for you over the course of the next 3 hours.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Doing things the right way.
All right, we'll start things off by taking a look back at the season finale victory in Boulder, Colorado over the weekend over the Colorado Buffaloes. We'll get our first look at today's game against UCF. Don't call us Central Florida. It is brought to you by Window Depot. We'll get your view from courtside out in Kansas City. Michelle Gardner covers the Arizona State Sun Devils for the Arizona Republic primarily, but when Arizona was clearly the number 1 team in the country this year, Michelle was also down here in Tucson providing the biggest newspaper in our state coverage of your Wildcats as well. So we'll get Michelle Gardner's perspective on the Wildcats. Spotlight on a Cat. You'll hear from the Big 12 Player of the Year, Jaden Bradley. He met the local media earlier this week. We'll see what Jaden had to say about being anointed as the number 1 player in the Big 12 Conference. DK sort of with TL today. I was not able to get down to the press conference on Monday due to the timing of it, but we will present the answer to a question I might have asked the head coach had I been there, as brought to you by Hughes Federal Credit Union. Your scouting report, we'll chat with Matt Michelle. He covers the UCF Knights for the Orlando Sentinel. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care presenting your scouting report every single ball game. Who'll be that night that gets underneath the Wildcats' skin in this contest? Your pest of the game, as brought to you by Essential Pest Control. Can we beat the book out at the Casino del Sol? Sol Sports, U of A comes in a 15.5-point favorite in this game today. Your over-under is 158.5. Keys to the game brought to you by Royal Automotive. What we think the Wildcats need to do to win today. And your starting lineup is presented by Rocking K. Arizona went on the road and got down early by double digits against the Colorado Buffaloes before coming back to win that game by a score of 89-79. It was not easy. Tommy Lloyd, after his team finished the regular season at 16-2.
Knew it was going to be a tough game down here, and obviously you guys know I have a lot of respect for Tad and their coaching staff and the program, and they play spirited, and it was a great test for our guys. I had been bouncing around a few plans, to change our rotation, play more guys, and then when I saw the way we came out, a little bit flat, not great energy, I thought it was more important that we figured out how to dig back in the game and be able to draw on that rather than, than maybe play some other guys. So, we've rode hard with these 8 guys. They're really good players. I think our energy's good right now. Once we kind of got it figured out in that game, we were pretty good. But I think it's important for us to understand as you head into the postseason that, you're going to have games like that where you're playing against a team that's playing their ass off and playing really good, and maybe your energy's not quite where you want it to be, but you got to be able to dig deep and respond. And so I was really proud of our guys' effort, and, hopefully it was a lesson learned, because obviously, it'd be great if we could continue to play for a long time.
Interesting, guys. There has been adversity this year for this team. It's not like they went through this thing undefeated. They did lose 2 games, and there's been a number of games, especially early in the season, where the Wildcats were down early in these games. But interesting there that Tommy Lloyd said, hey, this game necessarily doesn't mean anything. Maybe I was going to use a lot of guys, but there's a lesson here. There's a lesson here that he felt his team, even in game number 31, there was a lesson that he felt his team still needed to learn. And as a result, he stuck with his main rotation in that game Saturday night.
Yeah, I think if you go back to the pregame show or even the postgame show, I said that they were going to play at least 30 minutes. And I knew because Colorado was going to bring a effort that was going to warrant our guys being on the court a little longer. And you couldn't look past that, I got the Big 12, we already won the championship. That doesn't matter. As a coach, you don't want to go into the Big 12 tournament or into NCAA play, after a loss when you could have won the game if you just had your guys on the court. So I knew it was going to be a situation to where they played more minutes, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, you don't want to change the routine and the patterns that the players have going in. And as far as adversity goes, DK, I mean, we got to remember this team has played very clean basketball most of the year, but they do have 4 freshmen in the rotation. No other team in the country has that. So when it comes down to seeing adversity, you need to be able to see it especially when they start the season, 25-0. I mean, you have to have some kind of level of something happens in the game, DK, that you have to fight back. That's not the standard that you went into expecting with your clean game plan. So seeing that adversity, Kelvin, is so important to be able to go in after the fact and work on those little tiny, minute details so that when you see it the next time, we're talking about things like late presses that they might not have seen all game that they struggled to break, or, getting down early in a game to a team that may not make the NCAA tournament, right? So, 97, Kelvin, weren't they down 10 to South Alabama in the first round, right? I mean, you're going to have those moments where, you go into it. Basketball is an unpredictable game. It's a chaotic game. That's why we love it. So being able to take on any challenge and face that challenge and find a way to get around whatever obstacles in your way, that's what the postseason basketball is all about.
Eric, Tommy Lloyd on the Buffs getting up by double digits early in that game.
Played obviously Monday night against Iowa State, and there's a lot of emotions in the game, and a lot of pats on the back, so to speak. And then we took Tuesday off. We took Wednesday off. It's been a long season. Thursday we came back and practiced. I didn't even recognize the team. It's one of and that's to be expected. And then Friday we were a little bit better. I thought we had a good practice. And then I was hoping we'd come out and play really well from the start today, but we didn't. And the ability to figure it out is really important. And I thought the guys really showed some resolve, and I'm proud of them.
Kelvin, did you guys ever come back from a few days off for Christmas break and Coach Lute was like, I don't even know who you guys are?
Oh, yeah, man. You get away and you go be with your families and you're hanging out with your buddies. And a lot of times you're away from basketball. You're just chilling. So when you get back, I tell guys all the time, 2-3 days, man, your legs are not the same. It's not the same energy, right? And you're not as connected as you were before you left. So a lot of times that's why coaches like to keep you together and kind of lock the door on you because but what I will say is that they will be refocused for the Big 12 tournament. I mean, again, that was a game that, really didn't matter. We all were worried a little bit how the guys will react after winning the championship and getting patted on the back and your families at senior nights and all these different things and cutting down the nets. That's one of the reasons why coaches don't like cutting down the nets right there because they're like, no, it's not over yet. Those are not the nets that we want, but at the same time, you want a championship and you want to celebrate that. But as a coach, you're sitting there, you're happy, but on the inside, you're worried that, man, I don't want our guys to be satisfied, with that right there. So, again, I just think it's a thing as a coach that you want your guys locked in and ready. No matter what the situation is, now he can look at him and say, hey, we almost stumbled against Colorado. We're going to have to take UCF and these other teams serious because they're feeling good about themselves because they just won yesterday. So, hey, let's be locked in and ready to go, or, we can end up, going home with an L.
You also got to think about, the run that they had, not to mention the injuries that they had been dealing with, and obviously their rotation being shortened. But that run they had, with all of those top 10, consecutive top 10, top 15 teams, when they saw Kansas, Texas Tech, BYU, Houston, Baylor, Kansas, Iowa State, you're talking about nothing that Arizona ever saw in their Pac-10 or Pac-12 days. What was it, 9 consecutive quad one games to end the season. So having that little bit of a break, Kelvin, and getting away from each other maybe, we know the camaraderie and bonding and spending time playing Uno and all that stuff off the court is important. But sometimes, if you're right in it, DK, if you're always in it, you have a hard time seeing the forest from the trees. So taking a step back, the way that coach was talking about not recognizing the team, getting away from the court, getting away from Richard Jefferson Gym for a few days and coming back, especially after that run of games they had, it's always a good thing to take a step back and get back, get away from it for a minute before you come back together and then decide you want to finish, come back together and focused up to finish out the season strong.
Arizona in that game was down 11 points with about 4.5 minutes to go in the first half. They would close, however, with it wasn't a kill shot run, but it was pretty good to say the least as they cut their 36-25 deficit down to 38-36, so an 11-2 spurt to get back to within 2. Tommy Lloyd said that was huge to turning the game.
Well, obviously it's a massive benefit getting closer. Then basically you can get in a neck and neck game right away, and then we can kind of set up our next run is what you're hoping. And we were down. I don't know, when we were down 11. I think we just told our guys hey. It's one of these situations. Let's just climb our way back in this game, possession by possession, see if we can cut into this lead a little bit and put ourselves in position in the second half to make it a ball game. And I think that's a great skill to learn how to do to kind of, figure out, how to not let the game get away from you too early. And I thought our guys did a great job with a nice little run there towards the end of the first half. So.
Kelvin, that's why I like early in the season when you get a new group like this, 4 freshmen, you're talking about guys in rotation in roles that they may not have had last season even. When you have those players early in the season, Kelvin, and you don't call a timeout when you see a team go on a 5, 6, 7 point run, and you let those players figure it out, especially with the senior point guard leader and Jaden Bradley, you let those players on the court figure it out early in the season, because later in the season you might find a situation where you don't have a timeout and those players are going to have to figure out a way to get through those kind of down times and those lulls on their own. So, that game versus Colorado, like you said, cutting down the nets, winning the first Big 12 regular season title. How would you respond to that after a couple of days off? Not great. The opening to that game, Colorado was motivated, Arizona was not. But like Coach said right there, Kelvin, you find a way to get through that adversity, find a way to claw back. And that's the sign of a great team, to find a way back through one of those runs and one of those early deficits on your own.
And like you said, they didn't have that adversity all year. They won, 22, 23 games in a row. So it wasn't a lot of adversity in those games. But what I did like was after the Texas Tech loss, after the Kansas loss, those guys got back together and finished that season and won that Big 12 championship, outright like they did. And so now that makes you, as a coach, that make you optimistic that these guys got it in them to get it back right. That was like 4 games in a row after that right there. So that's some of what you're going to have to do to get through the Big 12 conference and to figure out a way to get to the Final Four.
One of the reasons the Wildcats were down was the fabulous play of another great freshman, Isaiah Johnson for Colorado. We had 15 points in that first half to help the Buffaloes build that 11-point lead. He would finish with 28 in the ball game. Tommy Lloyd on what he saw in the young guard.
He's got a great handle. He's a lefty, and he knows how to get right to get back left, consistently. And then he's got a knack for getting fouled, which is a great skill to have.
But his guard was equally as impressive. His freshman guard, Braden Burries, would finish the Wildcats' top scorer in that game. He had 31 on 9 of 16, including 11 of 12 from the free throw line for Braden Burries. Tommy, on what he got from his freshman guard.
Thought Braden, obviously didn't have a good start to the game. I thought I looked down there. I don't know what he was like, 1 for 6 or something like that. And you don't really have to challenge him. He's a competitor, and he kind of figured it out on his own and got himself going a little bit. And I didn't even realize he had 31 points, but for him to do that, was great.
Yeah, I finished 8 of 10, 7 of 9 in the second half to finish. Or 22 points in that second stanza. Braden Burries coming alive to help the Wildcats turn that 11-point deficit into a 10-point win in Boulder, Colorado.
He was already leading, but that secured his spot at the top of these scoring charts as well. 16 points a game, DK, because that was the final game of the season.
Yeah.
Ends up a couple of points ahead of Koa Pete, obviously. So, yeah, Arizona's leading scorer on its historic 29-win season.
There you go. Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day, getting you set for U of A, UCF, Big 12 quarterfinals in Kansas City. It is 2 hours ahead there. It's 8:47 here, 10:47 in the morning in KC. We've got much more coming up for you straight ahead as we dive into this ball game today. Stay with us. Get in. 848 or 1290. So early, I can't remember the numbers. 520-848-1290. I am not a morning show guy. You can tell that right now. But we've got you this morning for the next 3 hours. Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 1 of the pregame show is brought to you by Advantage Air and Mechanical, Cactus Auto Company, Casino del Sol, Done Right Services, Drain Masters, First Chiropractic, Idaho Central Credit Union, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, Royal GMC, Buick and Cadillac, Royal Kia, Royal Jaguar Land Rover, The Window Depot, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
At Goldberg and Osborne, we know Arizona. It's where we live. It's where we work. It's where we've fought and won cases for the injured since 1989. Throughout our history, we've approached every case with a single focus: you. And we've got thousands of 5-star reviews to prove it. Put us to work for you by calling 1-800-THE-EAGLE today.
Looking for top-notch lumber and framing? Johnson Manley Lumber has been your trusted expert since 1970, specializing in both residential and commercial projects. Our experienced teams, cutting-edge technology, and reliable supply chain ensure your framing is on time and on budget every time. We're proud to be employee-owned and community-rooted in Tucson. Learn more at johnsonmanley.net. Proud supporter of the University of Arizona radio broadcast. Go Wildcats.
Every day is a balancing act, with work, family, goals, all asking for more. It helps to have tools that meet you at every step and a team that will always be by your side. We're ICCU. We're a credit union that has been helping members achieve financial success since 1940. In fact, we put member success first, one by one, year after year, for 85 years and counting. Now, we're here for you, Tucson. Join us, ICCU.
Coach, Tommy Lloyd here with the Right Way team. Great news. Free furnace season has been extended through the end of March. Have you been thinking about replacing your heating and cooling system this year? To spark business, we're giving away an 80% gas furnace or a heat pump air handler with the purchase of a new air conditioning system.
And we're offering up to 60 months no-interest financing, manufacturer and energy efficiency rebates, and 10-year parts and labor warranty.
Call or text 520-200-2422 to book your free estimate today or visit rightwayac.com.
If it's worth doing, do it the right way.
JT Auto, where their customers are family. Stop by their newest East Side location, conveniently located at 6947 East 22nd, just west of Cole. Open Monday through Friday. JT Auto is a full-service auto shop with satisfaction guarantee, offering you the best in tires and wheels, auto repair, oil changes, computer diagnostics, suspension and brake service, and heating and AC. Bring your car to JT Auto, where their customers are family. 372-7704. That's 372-7704. Or jtautoaz.com.
For windows and doors that combine style, performance, and efficiency, come to the Window Depot. We carry a large selection of Milgard windows and patio doors, with many options in stock and available today. Choose from a variety of colors, styles, and energy-efficient designs that can help improve comfort while adding value to your home. From new builds to window replacements, our team can help you find the right Milgard products for your unique project. Visit thewindowdepot.com to find a location near you.
Up your game in a new Buick or GMC from Royal Buick GMC. At Royal, we always deliver a quality vehicle at a great price. Score a great deal with our no-pressure, non-commissioned sales staff and our transparent online pricing. Plus, Royal offers a 72-hour buyback guarantee. Score big at Royal Buick GMC, the dealership that's different. See dealer for details. Royal Buick GMC in the Tucson Auto Mall or RoyalTucson.com.
It's your time to shine. This is Desert Diamond Casino, the spot with Arizona's only hometown sportsbook, the hottest slots and tables, and off-the-charts energy you won't find anywhere else. Here, there's always a fun-filled, action-packed, downright unforgettable night right around the corner. So let your hair down, turn the sparkle all the way up. It's time to live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino.
An enterprise of the Thana Ogden Nation.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
Miller, James, got to get it over, and he did not. He did not get it over in time. Boy, what a bad mistake by Cincinnati. Shot clock down to 7. Kugel still going. It goes, and it's back down to 2. A quick 6-0 run for the night. Jordan Burks basically playing free safety, not putting any pressure on the ball, just to be an added defender on the catch. Celestine into James. Tipped, stolen. Kugel ties it. And that 8-point lead is gone right now into the final minute. Sean Abayev, who has not played this half, is the inbounder. Watch the roll to the basket. Thomas left it short. Might have had a little bit more time to square and release, but left the 3 short, and 40 minutes not enough to decide this one. Stillwell around Thomas, and UCF leads. Missed it, tipped, and that's going to do it. The Knights win it. They come back from 8 down in the last 2 minutes of regulation, and they hang on in overtime. A big, big win for Johnny Dawkins and UCF.
It's time to take our first look at today's game. Brought to you by the Window Depot. The Window Depot. Lowest prices and biggest inventory. Shop thewindowdepot.com.
UCF down 8 points with 2:17 to go. Rally to force overtime and then win it by 1 in the second round of the Big 12 tournament on Wednesday, 66-65. Jermichael Stillwell led the way with 17 points. He had 15 rebounds in that game. That is a quality double-double right there. Johnny Dawkins on his team's comeback win over the Bearcats.
I mean, it was a great game. Hats off to Cincinnati. I thought they did a great job. I thought our guys had to fight back on numerous occasions, and I thought they were able to do it. But this team has done this all season long. Just their competitive spirit, it showed in the summer. It showed up again tonight. Just their will to win. And like I said, they beat a very good Cincinnati team tonight, a team that was playing very well. And our guys just stepped up and made the plays, I thought, down the stretch of the game when they had to make them.
Cincinnati made 11 three-point shots in that game. Central Florida made just 3 of 24, but they forced 19 turnovers to help themselves come back for the victory.
Yeah, and some they didn't force. That first highlight there, DK, where Cincinnati struggled getting the ball over half court with the lead. That was about with a minute left in regulation, minute and a half left. In the middle of that 8-0 run, UCF closed on an 8-0 run, first 4 points of overtime as well. So a little bit of poor ball handling and a little bit of poor decision-making down the stretch. But UCF's fight, they just were never out of that game, despite being down late, found a way to rally and get the win.
Jamichael Stillwell and Themis Folks after the game said the defense was key.
Coach been preaching a lot, getting on the defensive side. Our shots not going to fall every night. So we got to do something that don't involve shooting, And actually, it's like our first game getting 8 kills. And how we go, like, a kill is 3 stops in a row. So, like, there's like 98% chance of winning. Right.
J-Mike, let's not tell him everything.
Oh, my fault, Coach.
I love you, though. Wait.
But, yeah, we just locked in on the defensive side, and we got it done.
Yeah, same thing. We hope every game that the shots go down, make it easier for us. But at the end of the day, we got to hang our hat on defense. And, it's March, and we knew that Cincinnati was hungry. They were hot. We knew that we needed to come in locked in. And I felt like we was locked in. We let them get off to, good runs throughout the game. But, we just hang our hat on defense, and we know defense wins championships.
Now, I will say that that's the whole kill shot thing for them is not anything they haven't talked about before, because we talked about that on the postgame show the first time around. That's one of the things that they hang their hat on is trying to get stops at the defensive end.
Now, Kelvin, Coach Olson, is big on rebounding and getting those 3 stops in a row. Didn't you guys have a drill trying to get stops?
Oh yeah. When you put that bubble on there.
Oh yeah.
You put the bubble on the basket, and basically you got to D up and get that rebound. And if the offense gets the rebound, they kick it back out, and you stay on defense. And sometimes we did 5-on-4 drills. To where you had to stop the defense 3 times in a row to get off the court. So, we always had drills to where you worked on stops.
Yeah, kill shots. That's an old, concept of getting 3 stops in a row, DK. That's how you get stops on the defensive end. Hopefully those lead to some easy transition buckets. But I think Coach Dawkins was just having some fun with Mr. Stillwell there by acting like he was giving up some kind of secret. But, yeah, I think that's pretty common knowledge. Getting stops is a key to getting wins, especially this time of year.
Johnny Dawkins on how the switching defenses that the Knights employed helped them cut down Cincinnati.
Well, we're a multiple defensive playing team, so we can always change strategies throughout the game. And we felt, down by 8 coming down the stretch, we need to do more in the full court. We need to do more pressing to see if we couldn't, speed them up, see if we couldn't get some turnovers. And fortunately, we were able to do that. I thought some guys made some big plays in the press. Jordan Burks, up front, was very long and active. I think he disrupted a lot of things in the full court for us. And our perimeter guys were just flying around like whirlwinds, picking up the ball, getting 10-second counts, going for steals. And I thought it just kind of disrupted what they were doing. They had a flow going, and I thought that kind of changed the game right there.
Big win for them because they had lost 3 consecutive games. So it looked like with about 2 minutes to go that their season was going to come crashing down with a 4th straight defeat, but didn't happen as Johnny Dawkins and company was able to turn that game and win it by 1 in overtime. Let's pause here 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day.
Wildcats Radio 1290 studios are brought to you by ICCU at ICCU.com. KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station.
Along with Kelvin Efon and JW Madden, my name is David Kelly. It is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day, getting you set for the start to the Big 12 Conference Tournament for your Arizona Wildcats, the number 2 team in the country. U of A will take on UCF, the Central Florida Golden Knights. And Knights, well, no Golden, just Knights. Today in Kansas City at the T-Mobile Arena with tip-off coming up in about
Central,
3
no
hours.
Golden.
No Central, no Golden.
Real quick, though, those 3 losses in a row, were not to Houston, Kansas, and Arizona. Those 3 losses in a row were to Baylor, Oklahoma State, and West Virginia, 3 teams in the bottom half of the tournament. So key for Johnny Dawkins' squad to find a way out of that hole and get a big win yesterday versus Cincinnati.
And a disastrous end for Cincinnati, a team that was kind of like Central UCF. They were up, they were down this year. They went through a lot of trials and tribulations. This was a game that they had won, but they could not close it out to the disappointment of Wes Miller.
Obviously, can I see a stat sheet, please? Thank you. I think if you'd have told us before the game, you'd look down and you'd see some of the lines from some of our main guys, Baba's line, Jizzle's line, Day-Day's. I think if you'd have told us before the game we were going to have those kind of numbers in a game like this, and we'd have 19 turnovers, we'd get out-rebounded, I think you'd say, well, dang, we're going to lose by 20. I think this group's been so resilient, and I thought the fact that we were in the position that we were in says so much about their character. So I'm extremely proud of them. We did not play our best basketball today. Again, the turnovers were certainly a factor, but we were in position to win the game, and that says a lot about this team's character. It's been a very, very rewarding team to work with, and we've been, in my opinion, since Christmas, we've been top 25 team in the country, no doubt about it. And so, again, very, very proud of our guys, even though we weren't able to pull out the win.
I want to play something. This is from the Cincinnati radio broadcast. This was, I think, Terry Nelson. I'm not sure. Hold on here. Okay. I'm not sure if this Terry Nelson is the play-by-play guy or the analyst. I believe he's an analyst on the radio broadcast for Cincinnati, but this is what he had to say after this game ended yesterday.
I'm having a hard time understanding the basketball IQ that was just displayed here in the last 9 minutes of gameplay. Unbelievable.
I'm being kind. I watched the last 7-8 minutes. When I saw that they were out to a big lead, I watched that 8-0 run at the end, and I watched the 4-0 run to start overtime, DK, and there were some very questionable decisions made by the Bearcats down the stretch of that game. I'm completely honest, I've watched 2 or 3 games from Cincinnati this year. I haven't watched the bulk of their schedule. But yeah, in crunch time, Kelvin, when you get out to a big lead, you wonder, we talk about adversity. We talk about, teams getting over little hurdles without coaches calling timeouts. There were some times there, like that 10-second call, there was not a lot of pressure. The ball handler brought the ball. He basically went all the way up the mid-court line. He had time to get the ball over and just did it. And that was under a minute to go with the lead, with UCF making a little run. So you just got to be cleaner. And the last play of the game, they had about 18, 20 seconds to go, DK, with the ball in a tied game to try to get a shot off. They got no action whatsoever going, gave the ball to a 7'2" guy 20 feet away from the basket, and their coach, Wes Miller, had to call a timeout at the very, very end, and they only got it. Padilla, he called it with 2 seconds to go, and Tony Padilla gave him about 0.4 on the clock, so they got a very bad look at the end of the game to try to get the win. So yeah, they don't want to watch that game film, the last 5 minutes of that game, because there were some correctable mistakes that they made. They shot themselves in the foot a little bit there.
It was a team that at one point this season lost 7 of 10. They won, however, 6 of their last 9. But there's some speculation about what Wes Miller's future may be in Cincinnati, as that program is not where it was, obviously, before he came to town. So we'll see how that situation plays out. One Big 12 coach already lost his job. Several have lost their jobs. One lost their job this week. We'll get into that coming up a little bit later in our show. UCF, I'll say Central Florida all day. I'm just wired that way. UCF head coach Johnny Dawkins, as his team faced the Wildcats during the regular season in Orlando. U of A won that game by 7 points, 84-77. He was asked what he remembered about that particular contest.
Absolutely. What you said is correct. That was a long time ago. Can't remember much about the game. I know they're a terrific team. They've had a great season. Very talented. Again, well coached. The one thing I was impressed with just was their overall talent. I was impressed with how well they played together. You know, this day and age where there's so much turnover on rosters, and it's hard to get guys to understand the importance of, you know, being connected out there because everybody's coming from a place where they were doing a lot of different things, and now they have to all kind of sacrifice for, you know, where they are, you know. And so I thought the Arizona players have done a great job of that. When I watch them play, it seems like they're playing for each other. They're playing for Arizona.
There you go, Arizona. UCF coming up at the T-Mobile Arena in Kansas City.
That's our first look at the game. Brought to you by the Window Depot. The Window Depot. Lowest prices and biggest inventory. Shop thewindowdepot.com. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
And don't forget, Window Depot also sponsors Arizona's top rebounding performance every night. It's the Window Depot glass cleaner of the game. Might be the Wildcat with the most rebounds. Could be the U of A star with the most impactful boards. Might be somebody from the other team. We'll tell you the Window Depot glass cleaner of the game coming up tonight on Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day, the post-game show. We'll get our view from courtside. Michelle Gardner from the Arizona Republic will join us next. It is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Spring is on its way, and we all know that extreme heat comes next. Right now is the time to get your car or truck road trip ready. And with 14 convenient locations, 6 decades of service, and dozens of top shop awards, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is the place. This month, get back big rebates on all your favorite major brand tires. Save more on the most affordable, long-lasting tires. Check out jackfurriers.com for details and money-saving coupons. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, here to get you there.
You know it. Your neighbors know it. And let's face it, the mailman knows it too. Your yard just isn't what it used to be. But thankfully, Dorado Rock Materials can get you, well, your yard anyway, back to what it once was. And even better, Dorado Rock Materials has just what your yard needs, from decorative rock to boulders and everything in between, brought right to you. And if you need help spreading it, we can help with that too. Dorado Rock Materials. The right service, the right product, the right price.
Everyone loves to get together for food, fun, and sports. But what's the best spot? I'm Josh Bishop, owner of Fork and Fire, Catalina, and Oro Valley. My brother, best friend, and I have been cooking for one another and for our neighbors for years, and we get to live our passion every day at Fork and Fire. At our Catalina Grill, you'll love the elevated bar fare and barbecue, served in our relaxed and fun neighborhood grill. Fork and Fire Catalina, where great food meets good times and a strong community. Bring everyone on down to Fork and Fire in Catalina and Oro Valley.
Hi, this is Natalie Fernandez at Meridian Wealth Management, and one of the hardest things I witness is when someone passes and they hadn't updated their beneficiaries properly beforehand. We all experience change in our lives, marriage, divorce, kids, and we work very hard for what we have. Leaving your legacy exactly the way you desire is important. This is your reminder to review all of your beneficiary designations today and at least annually. Seek guidance if you need it. Call our office at 520-719-1433 for more information.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Are you planning a home renovation? Getting quotes on windows, doors, cabinets, countertops, or flooring? Before you commit, visit the Window Depot and make sure you're not overpaying. The Window Depot is your one-stop shop for top quality products at the lowest prices. We're locally owned and operated with no installers and no middlemen, so you save big. Perfect for DIYers, contractors, and homeowners. Visit a location near you or shop online at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
Morning begins in the Rincon Foothills. Rocking K, a master-planned community and place to call home, offering distinct neighborhoods designed to fit your lifestyle. Explore the outdoors, walk the trails, visit Saguaro National Park. Enjoy community parks and make new friends at Rocking K resident events. Walk to Vail School District's newest campus in Rocking K, Saguaro Creek. 17 model homes, 6 quality builders, move-in ready homes available from the 300s. Rocking K, designed by nature. a community by design.
So, what is it that scares you the most?
The blue trucks from Essential Pest Control, Doctor. They leave bugs belly up.
I use one of those national companies.
Thanks, Doc. Those guys don't scare me.
Spring is bug season. Go blue with Essential Pest Control. We'll eliminate those bugs, bees, and termites. Buy local and stop paying too much with those national providers. Essential Pest Control is a bug's worst nightmare.
I can't sleep at night.
Essential Pest Control. Call 866-3029. That's 866-3029. Or visit essentialpest.com.
Discover your perfect vehicle at Cactus Auto, Tucson's trusted destination for certified pre-owned cars for over 30 years. They offer a wide range of certified pre-owned vehicles featuring the brands and models you love. Their finance experts are here to provide you with top dollar trade-in offers and help you find the best financing options, regardless of your credit history. With approved credit, enjoy no payments for up to 90 days. Trust Cactus Auto for quality, affordable pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs, all backed by incredible savings and a 7-day exchange guarantee. Visit cactusauto.com.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden. It's time now for us to take you down to the front row of the arena. A view from courtside is brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser serving Southern Arizona over 30 years.
All right, let's take our first trip out to the T-Mobile Arena in Kansas City, Missouri, and chat with Michelle Gardner. She is the beat writer for the Arizona State Sun Devils with the paper, but she also found herself on U of A coverage quite a bit this year as well, and she joins us now. Michelle, appreciate always the opportunity to chat with you. So how did that work? I mean, you're obviously the Sun Devil writer, but we saw you down here a lot at McHale Center this year. How did that all transpire?
Well, I mean, we are a state paper, so, I mean, we covered the whole state. Obviously, we use content from the Tucson Daily Star because they're our sister paper, so we do use their content a lot. But they wanted me to come down and do some extra things. And I shouldn't say if, but when U of A advances to the Sweet 16, I'm probably going to be going to that as well. So they kind of wanted to work me into the mix and have me do a little bit more U of A when it didn't conflict with ASU. So that was kind of the logic behind it, and it's exciting, and we'll see what happens.
So is a reporter, is that an easy process to kind of bring yourself? I mean, you're obviously covering, the college basketball scene, so I'm sure you know a lot about U of A. Did you have to do extra homework to kind of put yourself in the right mindset to be able to understand what was going on?
Yeah, I mean, I know enough just from following the Big 12. I kind of knew enough. It was good to see them in person a couple of times. But, yeah, you follow the conference. You don't just follow the school you cover because
right.
Your team is going to be playing all these other teams at some point. So you watch games when you can. And obviously you can't watch every game because there are games going the same time your games are. But, you watch as much as you can. You see highlights and, you keep up on the conference. So it really was not that difficult.
So what was your assessment of the Arizona Wildcats that you were seeing as this season went along?
Well, when I saw them in person, to me, seeing them in person was even different than seeing them on TV. I mean, I was really impressed with their physical nature, their just how physical they were, and they were better when I saw them in person than when I had seen them on TV. I think they've got all the ingredients necessary to go all the way. Now, I've always said that to win a national championship, it takes more than just being good. You got to have a little bit of luck. I don't care who you are, whether it's your schedule, whether it's avoiding key injuries. It always takes the right draw, the right matchup. I mean, I think any team to win a national championship, it takes being good, but also a little element of luck. I mean, you look at what ASU did in 2 years ago when they won the Big 12 championship, and it took a little bit of luck there too. So I just think that's just kind of that little intangible ingredient that every team needs to have. But I think they've got it. They've got the inside game. They've got veterans. They've got solid rookies that don't play like rookies. They've got defensive presence. Some people say maybe they don't shoot the three enough. Well, if you can get the high percentage points in the paint it makes more sense to pound the ball in the paint than shoot 3-pointers.
Michelle Gardner is our guest. She is with the Arizona Republic. She covers college athletics. It is your View from Courtside, and it's brought to you by Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates. Kaiser has been serving Arizona now for over 30 years. Michelle, I know you don't necessarily cover high school sports, but as a beat writer for ASU, ASU was recruiting Koa Pete, so I'm sure you probably saw him play. Did you see him play at all in high school, and what were your impressions of him, and what have you liked about what you've seen from Koa now in this first year in college?
No, I didn't see him in high schools because obviously I've got my plate full just doing the college, so I did not see him in high school. Obviously, I heard about him. But when I saw him in person for the first time, I was just like, whoa, this kid does not look like a freshman. I mean, he doesn't look like a freshman. He doesn't play like a freshman. Like, the dude looks like he should be a senior. I mean, just physically how ready he is. And you know, that's reflective in how well he's played this year. So, no, my first thought was when I saw him for the first time, I'm like, this kid cannot be a freshman. He just cannot.
So, Michelle, just in terms of today, because obviously you're going to be there, I would imagine you're staying to cover U of A through the remainder of this tournament. That's correct?
Yes.
So what's your angle today? Are you working on a specific angle for today's game? How is it just a regular game day type situation for you? What's the reporter side of that?
Well, what I do is I'm trying to do stuff that's not game-centric because, like I said, we use the Tucson Daily Star, and Bruce does a great job, so we use that kind of game-centric thing. So I'm kind of working on other things. Like one thing I'm working on, and I was going to work on it yesterday, and then all hell exploded on the ASU front, so I didn't get a chance to doing it. But I'm working on what the national media is saying about U of A. And I had a nice chat with Fran Fraschilla, and he's like the nicest man on the planet. I had never spoken with him before, but he's like the nicest man on the planet. So I talked to him about what his thoughts were on U of A. So that's one thing that I've got in the offing that in the next couple of days I'll be working on that. And then the piece I just did, which ran Sunday, was on U of A and why I think they're built for the long haul. And the theme of the story was just that being in the Big 12 mans you up and gets you ready for the postseason. Whereas in the Pac-12, and obviously U of A has had their issues where they got to the postseason and didn't necessarily always meet expectations. When you're in the Pac-12, you only really need to get up for 2-3 maybe opponents, you know, UCLA, Oregon, and then you can sleepwalk through the rest of your schedule and it really doesn't matter and you're still going to win. In the Big 12, you got to compete every night. And when you're U of A, you're getting everybody's best shot. And when you're in the Big 12, every game is that kind of battle. So I think they are battle tested to this point, and I think that that's why they can win this thing this year is because there's nothing that they haven't seen as far as styles of play, and they've played in the Big 12, and so that was kind of the theme of the piece that I wrote on Sunday.
Michelle Gardner from the Arizona Republic is our guest. It is your View from Courtside. It's brought to you by Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates. Kaiser has been serving Arizona now for over 30 years. All right, you mentioned the blowing up of ASU yesterday. Walk us through for that, Michelle, just kind of how that all went down. We all figured that after the game was over, something might happen. When did you get word? I'd imagine Graham Rossini is down there. Did he meet with the local Tempe media, to Phoenix media, to kind of go over what was happening, or was it just a statement that they put out?
Well, no, and it was really, really strange. So Graham was here for the first round game on Tuesday, and I saw him in passing, didn't get a huge chance to talk to him, but I thought, okay, I'll get a hold of him on Wednesday. And I go Wednesday, and I was told by ASU folk that he went back Tuesday night.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, well, okay. So I was literally not even finished with my story from the game when it started coming out that Bobby was, I don't want to say fired, because to me, it was a parting of the ways. His contract was not renewed.
Correct.
That's different to me than being fired, okay? Because some people are putting out there he was fired. I don't think that that's a good way to phrase it. To me, fired is, oh, you've got a year left, and they're saying goodbye, see you later. Mm-hmm. Okay, so anyway, I mean, we had all pretty much thought that this was coming. when you don't renew the man and you have him walk through the season as a lame duck coach, that pretty much is the school's intention to moving on. So this was kind of just a formality. Some national media put it out, I believe Monday. I think it was Monday because they played Tuesday. So some national media put it out Monday that Bobby was indeed gone. At that point, I called the powers that be at ASU, and I was told, no, that's premature. Okay. So, and I believe them. And again, we knew it was going to happen. It was just a matter of when. And I think at that point, you owe it to Bobby and the players, let the season play out and let them get done at least, instead of have that distraction out there. So when ASU took the floor against Baylor, I said one of two things is going to happen. They're going to come out and they're going to play great, or this thing's going to be a distraction and they'll play terrible. And to their credit, they played phenomenal basketball for 35 minutes against Baylor. And then obviously the debacle on yesterday was just not good. So I wasn't even finished with my game story when that came out that he was indeed gone. So I'm to this point not sure if just Graham called him or maybe Graham was still in town, but I was told that the team was told Bobby met with the team when they got back to the team hotel. So shortly after the game was over and the team had a chance to go back to the hotel before they got on their flight, that's when Bobby told them that he was not coming back. As far as the game, I mean, that obviously was a debacle, and I think that's a tough look for him to go out with that kind of game. And I think the problem with that game was they had just played Iowa State on Saturday, and they had 23 turnovers, and they actually led at the half, but had 23 turnovers and then kind of lost that game. To play Iowa State again when you have literally zero chance to course correct, because they couldn't plan for Iowa State again. They had to game plan for Baylor. So they really had no chance to self-correct, and maybe they got to look at a little film or whatever, but they had played 24 hours earlier. So I didn't think that they were going to win that game. I thought they'd be a little bit more competitive. And then I think it just kind of got out of hand early, and then they started just jacking up shots because they got behind and thought, okay, we need to try and catch up, and the shots didn't fall, and the frustration, and it just kind of steamrolled from there. But, I'm not surprised they lost that game, surprised how bad they lost it, not surprised that Bobby's gone, but I thought they'd give them a day to get back to town and meet with Bobby like today. I'm surprised that they did it that second. And the players love Bobby. And in the locker room after the game, Mo Odom and Alan Mukamo were talking, but they love him. So I'm sure that they're disappointed. And the ballot, what's going to be interesting now is, and I get ASU's strategy in that they need to get a coach in place before the portal opens. As far as trying to retain players, number one, trying to bring in new players, you got to get a coach in place as fast as possible. So I think that I get it. That's why they, let's get it done. Let's, rip the Band-Aid off, as they say, and let's move on. So yeah, it was an interesting 24 hours. I think I never ate lunch. I was moving from 9 o'clock in the morning until 6:30 at night, and then I already had here are the candidates to replace Bobby Hurley thing. I've had that written for like a week. So they were holding off posting that until he was officially done. So they posted that right away, and it got 8,000 page views because people love that kind of crap, And then I tweaked my game story. I wrote the Bobby Hurley is out story, and now I'm sitting here writing a Bobby Hurley, what is his future story.
Oh, wow.
So this thing is never going to end. It's there's no rest for the weary this time of the year. You know how that is.
So then from Michelle Gardner's perspective, what is the legacy of Bobby Hurley at Arizona State?
Well, the interesting thing here is I don't think there are no ASU people that are on the fence. They love him and appreciate him, or they want him to go. I don't think there's literally any, in between. I think he did a couple really good things. I think he beefed up their schedule. They actually play a pretty good non-conference schedule. That's something his predecessor never did. And I hate to. He had the program on a great trajectory before COVID, and I thought that they were it seemed like they never got their footing after COVID. And obviously after then, that's when the NIL kicked in full speed. That's when transfer portal kind of really came into play. So, ASU has never put the resources into basketball that they've needed to be a competitive program. Okay, you can get away with that in the Pac-12 and finish in the middle, or, maybe you get lucky and have a couple great players and you can, you can't get away with that in the Big 12. So I think he did what he could do given the restraints and the handcuffs he had on him because of the school's refusal to invest in basketball. The arena situation, we've been down that road before and that path. And, when you don't have the resources and you don't have a facility, I think he's been a decent recruiter because he's been able to get certain athletes and five-star athletes here, whether it was Marcus Bagley and Josh Christopher. And did they pan out? No. But he got them here, got them, to Tempe. He got Jaden Quaintance and Joe Sonsan. And again, both of those guys got hurt last year. So I think he's a decent recruiter. I think he needs to find the right situation for Bobby Hurley, and he needs to have backing from the administration. So I'm sorry to see him go. He was always great with us. I know it's a love-hate, with the fan base, I think, and obviously from outsiders' perspective and opposing fan bases, he looks like he's going to spontaneously combust on every foul call. And I get it. That's why people don't like him. But that's why he was a great player, and he was fiery as a player. And I think that's kind of one of the things that wore on the fan base a little bit here, too, is they just kind of got tired of seeing that. So I think and the other thing, too, is I think they had to – I think sometimes – and I'm sure you'll probably agree, sometimes that there is a good chance that a parting of the ways is good for both parties. And I think that this is one of those situations where Bobby can find a better situation and the school can move on and start to go in a different direction with a new voice. So I think, when you look at where the program was when Bobby took over, and it wasn't in a good place when he took over. So, I think he did what he could do here. I think it'll be interesting to see where he ends up next. I don't think he's done coaching. So we'll see. But, it's been an interesting 24 hours.
Michelle, you led me to my last question. Michelle Gardner, Arizona Republic. In your mind, in terms of NIL, revenue share, overall setup, who's ahead right now? Arizona or Arizona State fiscally and financially?
Well, what sport are we talking?
Well, let's just talk about overall, just the entire department.
I think they're actually pretty comparable. I think that Arizona is investing in certain sports, and I think ASU is investing in maybe differently. But I think they're pretty comparable. I mean, as far as, I think Arizona's got its great sports, and ASU's got its great sports, and a lot of people will argue that ASU maybe is better than non-revenue sports, whether it's swimming and whatever. I think that's kind of one big stickling point. I know U of A fans love to get on ASU about that they're better in the big sports. So, okay. But I think they're pretty comparable as far as what they can offer. And I think it's just a matter of what sports do you want to invest in. And I think with U of A, they've got basketball tradition. That's where they're putting the chips in the middle and they're all in. And I get it, and they should do that. And so I just think it's a matter of what you look at as, do you want, and I think one problem too is ASU's got 26 sports. I think it's too many. You can only spread the pie and, slice the pie in so many pieces, if you know what I mean. So I don't think ASU will ever drop a sport because their athletic director says that he's kind of poo-pooed that idea whenever he's been asked about that. But when you've got a sport like women's lacrosse, okay, what does that move the needle for you? I don't think it does. Am I wrong here? So, but again, when you've got to spread your pie through 26 sports, you're going to be thin in some of the sports that matter. So maybe that's why ASU has struggled when it comes to the major sports, and obviously, they're behind Arizona when it comes to basketball. Obviously, women's basketball, ASU kind of turned a corner this year and did something pretty phenomenal, and going from 10 wins to 24 wins, which is virtually unheard of. So I think it'll be interesting to see what this next hire is. I think there is some pressure in ASU sports like softball and baseball to I think they sort of turned a corner last year, but to, do even better this year. I think there's pressure on those two sports to do better this year. And obviously baseball's gotten off to a really good start. So I think there is pressure on those two coaches and those two sports to do a little bit better. But yeah, I mean, I think the schools are pretty comparable as far as what they can offer.
Michelle, I know you are extremely busy, so I appreciate you taking so much time to chat with us on both the University of Arizona and Arizona State. Continued success with the coverage down there in Kansas City. And if you're going to be at the Sweet 16, we may call you to talk from there as well.
Yeah, I hope I get to. I mean, when I did the Final Four here in Arizona, when it was here 2 years ago, that was like an awesome experience. So I would love that. So definitely, anytime you need me, I'm available.
Michelle Gardner, Arizona Republic. That's your view from courtside.
We hope you enjoyed your view from courtside. It was brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser has been serving Southern Arizona for over 30 years. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour one of the pregame show is brought to you by Advantage Air and Mechanical, Cactus Auto Company, Casino del Sol, Done Right Services, Drain Masters, First Chiropractic, Idaho Central Credit Union, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing, Royal GMC, Buick and Cadillac, Royal Kia, Royal Jaguar Land Rover, The Window Depot, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
Hi, I'm Jordan Benjamin with Done Right Services. When your home or business needs HVAC, plumbing services, or electrical work, trust a true local Tucson company, Done Right Services. We pride ourselves on delivering top-notch service, fair pricing, and expert craftsmanship. The job isn't finished unless it's done right. Weekend emergency? No problem. Just give us a call. We're here when you need us. You deserve the best, and Done Right Services delivers. Call us today for a free estimate at 520-369-3966.
For windows and doors that combine style, performance, and efficiency, come to the Window Depot. We carry a large selection of Milgard windows and patio doors, with many options in stock and available today. Choose from a variety of colors, styles, and energy-efficient designs that can help improve comfort while adding value to your home. From new builds to window replacements, our team can help you find the right Milgard products for your unique project. Visit thewindowdepot.com to find a location near you.
It's your time to shine. This is Desert Diamond Casino, the spot with Arizona's only hometown sportsbook, the hottest slots and tables, and off-the-charts energy you won't find anywhere else. Here, there's always a fun-filled, action-packed, downright unforgettable night right around the corner. So let your hair down, turn the sparkle all the way up. It's time to live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino.
An enterprise of the Thana Ogden Nation. Every day is a balancing act, with work, family, goals, all asking for more. It helps to have tools that meet you at every step, and a team that will always be by your side. We're ICCU. We're a credit union that has been helping members achieve financial success since 1940. In fact, we put member success first, one by one, year after year, for 85 years and counting. Now, we're here for you, Tucson. Join us, ICCU.
Supplier pricing is happening right now at O'Reilly Chevrolet during Truck Month. That means big savings across our lineup. Take up to $4,000 off the 2026 Colorado, up to $5,500 off the 2026 Silverado HD, and up to $10,000 off the 2026 Equinox EV. Supplier pricing is going on right now, so don't miss your chance to save. Find us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or visit O'Reilly.com. O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet. At Goldberg & Osborne, we know Arizona.
It's where we live. It's where we work. It's where we've fought and won cases for the injured since 1989. Throughout our history, we've approached every case with a single focus: you. And we've got thousands of 5-star reviews to prove it. Put us to work for you by calling 1-800-THE-EAGLE today.
Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Always trust the big guy. Mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair at coolwillies.com. Cool Willie's is proud to be a partner of the University of Arizona Wildcats radio broadcast. Two powerful teams working hard for you to get the job done right every day. Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Big enough to help, small enough to care. Remember to mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair. coolwillies.com.
Ready to update your kitchen, create a spa-inspired bathroom, or a backyard oasis? Put the equity in your home to work for you with a home equity line of credit from Hughes. Borrow between $10,000 and $250,000 and enjoy flexible terms and no prepayment penalties. With Hughes Federal Credit Union's one-rate guarantee, there's no switching rates based on your credit score. All our members get our same low rate. Learn more at hughesfcu.org/HELOC. Insured by NCUA. Equal housing lender. Certain restrictions apply.
Wildcat Nation, are you ready?
Bradley down, into the lane, lay it up and good. Previous turnaround jump hook is good. Del Orso springs a three out there and drains it. Milwaukee takes away the rebound and slams it home. It's a man's game.
Bear down, Cats. Our Window Depot coverage of University of Arizona basketball continues with Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday. The pregame show is brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. We are counting down to tip off for Arizona Wildcats basketball. This is Wildcats Radio, 1290.
Delhi driving left, bounce pass off to Krivas inside the three-point line, working his way down into the lane, backing down on Malone, turns their left-hand hook short, but there's a Waka to pick it up and put it in for two.
Just drew the defensive pressure from both bigs, did Krivas. That left Waka wide alone on that offensive rebound.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Doing things the right way.
Toby Waka, one of the veterans that is aware of what needs to happen over the course of the next 4 weeks to get Arizona to the promised land. He'll be one of the guys leading the charge as Arizona starts their postseason today. We'll hear from Toby Waka coming up a little bit later. He chatted with Channel 13, KOLD 13 News. They're the only television station that I'm aware of that's on the ground in Kansas City. So we will hear what he had to say to Toby Waka as the Wildcats arrived in Missouri the other night. Hour number 2 of our show is here. We've got this coming up for you, a spotlight on a cat. We'll shine a spotlight on the guy who won the Big 12 Player of the Year award, Jaden Bradley. He met with the local media earlier this week, third such player in the 5-year tenure of Tommy Lloyd as the head coach, joining Benedict Mathern and Caleb Love as Player of the Year. We'll check your scoreboard. Lots going on with Conference Championship Week. Brought to you by Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyers. DK sort of with TL, a question I might have asked the head coach had I been in the press conference with him on Monday. Brought to you by Hughes Federal Credit Union. Matt Marshall from the Orlando Sentinel will have your scouting report. It's presented by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Will be that UFC. No, this is not fighting. UCF.
No,
night.
UFC is something different. Yeah.
It's a way something different. UCF night that gets underneath the Wildcats' skin today. Your pest of the game brought to you by Essential Pest Control. Can we beat the book out at the Casino del Sol Sports? U of a 15.5-point favorite. You're over under 158.5. Keys to the game, what we think the Wildcats need to do to win today, is brought to you by Royal Automotive and your starting lineup as presented by Rocking K. All of that is still to come on our show. We also want to hear from you at 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290. What are your keys for the Arizona Wildcats not only to win today, well, we don't want to get too far ahead of it, but to win this week in Kansas City? If you are in Kansas City listening to the show, give us a call. We also want to hear how things are going there and what you're seeing, what you're hearing, what you're eating Hopefully lots of barbecue this week. All right, let's shine a spotlight on a Wildcat.
Our pregame show, Spotlight on a Cat, is brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. Get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Put the play in motion. Bradley steps around a screen. Spin move right. Now needs to get to work. Jumper, turn around, goes to the bucket, lay it up and good. Oh, what a beautiful move by Jaden Bradley. And the Cats up by 3. 16 seconds left.
30 seconds on the game clock. It's another screen from Krivas. Bradley goes for the lay-in high off the glass. It's good, and it's all Jaden Bradley in the clutch.
Just grateful to be here. I wouldn't be here without my teammates. They make it so much easier for me. So I'm just a little piece to the puzzle, and, grateful to just be in this position.
Jaden Bradley from unheralded, not on a whole lot of preseason teams to Big 12 Player of the Year. What a debate that has sparked this week across the conference. One of 5 finalists for the Bob Cousy Award as well for Best Point Guard in all of college basketball. Let's hear from Jaden Bradley, who met with the media on Monday, just hours after it was announced he was the Big 12's top player.
Questions for Big 12 Player of the Year, Jaden Bradley.
When did you find out?
Found out earlier today. TJ, kind of my workout guy, one of the coaches had told me. Definitely surprised for sure.
Yeah. Why were you surprised?
It's just a lot of great players in this league, in the Big 12. But I definitely put in a lot of work, a lot of hours, and just, glad I can get this award for sure.
At the beginning of the year, Tommy had mentioned displeasure with not seeing you on preseason watch lists.
Yep.
And now you're a finalist for that one and this. Do you use any of that as motivation? Like, I'm better than what the people who are making these decisions think?
For sure. I try not to look at that stuff kind of early on in the season, but, it's just the way that the world works. People show you, people reach out, but like you said, I definitely use it as fuel coming into the season. Just to show people that I'm deserving of those awards, deserving to be in those races, and by the end of the day, I care about winning. So all that stuff really doesn't matter.
Tommy was very humble about winning Coach of the Year, was giving credit to everybody else. What do you think makes him a good coach?
Man, Coach Lloyd, he's amazing. Not only on the court but off the court. Just the things he's been able to do with this team. We got a majority of freshmen. Some transfers and a couple returners, but the stuff he's just able to do on the fly, he's a great coach, great system, just an amazing person. I'm happy he got that award.
You'd also mentioned that you were under the weather at some point during the season. How did you fight through that?
Just know it's bigger than yourself. Part of something that's big, and we got a lot of stuff we're trying to accomplish, and just one game. You could push through that a game or two, knowing that your teammates are going to pick up the slack. We got great players, and so you just pushing through.
Did you have an IV or anything like Braden did?
I tried it. I definitely tried it. Yeah.
Do you care how many points you score in a given game?
No. Like I said earlier, as long as we come out on top of the win, that's really all that matters to me.
How you guys all bought into Tommy's philosophy this year. What does it mean to have a guy like Tobe Owaka get the 6th man?
Man, Tobe is a great guy. If you get to know him off the court, very humble. But I'm glad Tobe got that award. Just the stuff he's been able to do. I'm pretty sure he can go anywhere in the country and start and be a top big. But just to have him on our team, you don't have to deal with him running into him and all that other stuff. But kudos to Tobe.
Mo made the all-defensive team, did not get Defensive Player of the Year. If you were to present the case for him to be Defensive Player of the Year, what would you say?
Mo, you've seen what he's doing every night. He's picking up, our slackest guards. We get beat. Mo's always there. It's clips where I've seen Mo start on the baseline, run back on defense, and chase down block, and then go back down and get a bucket. But Mo's been doing it all year, coming off injury, and doing the stuff that he's doing. I feel like he definitely should have got that award.
Has he blocked you in practice?
No, I stopped going in there. So.
How much motivation is there for this week with the conference tournament? It pretty much feels like you guys are number one. You've won the regular season title. Is there still like a desire that this is something you guys want to do and put in the full effort?
For sure. Anytime we're put in a tournament or anything, we want to go in there with 110% and try to go win it. And this Big 12, just looking at the the seedings and everything, there's some great teams that are higher seeds, and so I just look at it as every game's as important as every one. So we just got to go in there, take it game by game, and try to go on top of the trophy.
Freshmen are a little unique in that they've already played in state championships and Team USA and stuff like that. But do you tell them anything about this time of year and how maybe the tone starts to change?
Yeah, just putting a little bit nugget in their ear and stuff like that. Try not to make too much big of a deal of it. You don't want them overthinking, doing that stuff. So just treat it like a normal game. We've been playing high level basketball since the beginning of the year. We played Florida our first game, UConn, all these big games. So just treating it like another game, but it means a little bit more. So
you talked about winning being the most important thing for you. How do you define that? What does it mean to be a winning player?
Just for your character and stuff like that. So everybody has dreams of going to the next level. They definitely want winners. So and the longer that you play, the more opportunity that you get. Not only in March but just throughout your career. And it's just a good look. And nobody likes to lose. Nobody likes that feeling. So just going out there, winning everything you do, whether it's on the court or off the court. So.
Do you feel any pressure? I know you're the leader of the team. You always stay very calm and poised, but you've got an MVP chance on senior night and now Big 12 Player of the Year. Does that affect your mentality at all?
Not at all. I'm very grateful for Tucson and the MVP chance and the Player of the Year. I really couldn't do it without my teammates. I think if we don't win the Big 12 regular season championship, I don't get that award. So shout out to all the guys that stepped up throughout the season. And no pressure, just go in there and take care of business.
Do you think it's Final Four or bust for this team?
Not necessarily. We definitely have that, in the back of our minds. We want to get there. But I think game by game, personally, I've never been past the Sweet 16, in my college career. So, I'm going to do that game by game, and trying to do that, and then Elite Eight, and then, as it starts creeping up, now you're in the Final Four, and so just game by game.
Today's Spotlight on a Cat, brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. Get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet.
All right, that was Jaden Bradley, your Player of the Year in the Big 12 Conference. I think the funniest thing he said in that was when he was asked if he had taken an IV, because apparently he went through a period where he was sick, and he said, "Yeah, I tried it." Kind of like it was just like a soda or something. Yeah, I tried the IV.
Kelvin, you ever try an IV when you're on the sidelines? A little extra?
No, the only time it ever happened to me was when I was with the Raiders and I cramped up real bad and they forced me to do one, and I did not like it, but it was refreshing.
It was refreshing. There you go. Well, whatever you got to do to get out on the court sometimes of the field, we know our athletes will push themselves to try to be there for their boys. Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. We'll get a timeout here. We'll come back. We'll check your scoreboard, DK with TL, and a whole lot more. Just why did Tommy Lloyd play 3 of his starters 30-plus minutes in Colorado? We'll hear that coming up straight ahead. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 2 of the pregame show is brought to you by Bear Down Roofing, Dorado Rock, Essential Pest Control, Goodfellas AC, Hughes Federal Credit Union, Johnson Manley Company, JT Auto, Lexus of Tucson, Mr. Rooter, Recon Auto Detail, Rightway Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Rocking K, a master plan community designed by nature, Factory Direct Mattress, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
At Goldberg and Osborne, we know Arizona. It's where we live. It's where we work. It's where we've fought and won cases for the injured since 1989. Throughout our history, we've approached every case with a single focus: you. And we've got thousands of 5-star reviews to prove it. Put us to work for you by calling 1-800-THE-EAGLE today.
In Tucson, Cool Willie's knows desert dust, dirt, and debris are the #1 AC killers when the heat hits. That's why our signature tune-up is the best way to get your system summer ready. Right now, we're offering a preseason AC reset, a deep internal clean where our technicians remove built-up dust, restore airflow, and prep your home before temperatures spike. First-time customers get their preseason AC reset for just $39, normally $129. Appointments fill fast before the first heat wave. Go to coolwillies.com and click Book Now.
It's Truck Month at O'Reilly Chevrolet, and supplier pricing is going on right now. That means huge savings on some of our most popular vehicles. Get up to $12,475 off the 2026 Silverado LD, up to $7,500 off the 2025 Blazer EV, and up to $2,500 off the 2026 Traverse. Truck Month is happening now, so don't miss out. Find us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or go to O'Reilly.com. O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
It's your time to shine. This is Desert Diamond Casino, the spot with Arizona's only hometown sportsbook, the hottest slots and tables, and off-the-charts energy you won't find anywhere else. Here, there's always a fun-filled, action-packed, downright unforgettable night right around the corner. So let your hair down, turn the sparkle all the way up. It's time to live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino.
An enterprise of the Thana Ogden Nation.
Ready to update your kitchen? Create a spa-inspired bathroom or a backyard oasis? Put the equity in your home to work for you with a home equity line of credit from Hughes. Borrow between $10,000 and $250,000 and enjoy flexible terms and no prepayment penalties. With Hughes Federal Credit Union's one-rate guarantee, there's no switching rates based on your credit score. All our members get our same low rate. Learn more at hughesfcu.org/HELOC. Insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender. Certain restrictions apply.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Spring is on its way, and we all know that extreme heat comes next. Right now is the time to get your car or truck road trip ready. And with 14 convenient locations, 6 decades of service, and dozens of top shop awards, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is the place. This month, get back big rebates on all your favorite major brand tires. Save more on the most affordable, long-lasting tires. Check out jackfurriers.com for details and money-saving coupons. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Here to get you there.
You know it. Your neighbors know it. And let's face it, the mailman knows it too. Your yard just isn't what it used to be. But thankfully, Dorado Rock Materials can get you, well, your yard anyway, back to what it once was. And even better, Dorado Rock Materials has just what your yard needs, from decorative rock to boulders and everything in between, brought right to you. And if you need help spreading it, we can help with that too. Dorado Rock Materials. The right service, the right product, the right price.
Looking for quality windows without the wait? Come to the Window Depot. We carry a huge selection of Milgard windows, in stock now and ready for pickup. Need something custom? No problem. From new construction to full home replacement, we'll help you order the perfect Milgard windows built to fit your space, style, and budget. Whether you're a homeowner or contractor, the Window Depot makes it easy to get the windows you need fast. Visit thewindowdepot.com to find a location near you and see why we're your Milgard window experts.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
Burries running a walk-a screen into the lane. Scoop it up, left hand, score it! And he's fouled. Burries to the line to shoot one.
Just picks up the ball, Brian. When he drives it, he picks it up low to the ground. That draws a lot of contact. It reduces the opportunity for a steal. And then what a finish. A creative finish over the top of his head. Didn't even see the rim as he flipped it in with his left hand.
Arizona and UCF straight ahead in Kansas City. It's the opening of the Big 12 Conference Basketball Tournament. Lots of tournaments are happening across college basketball. Let's check your scoreboard to start this segment here.
Let's take a look at what's happening today around the rest of the country. The Wildcats Radio 1290 Game Day Scoreboard is brought to you by Goldberg and Osborne. Goldberg and Osborne, Arizona's leading injury law firm.
Well, we had a chance to chat with Michelle Gardner a little bit earlier. ASU's run in this Big 12 Conference tournament ended very dramatically. Well, maybe not dramatically, but in a disastrous,
unceremoniously.
Yeah, that's even better. Fashion yesterday.
Chilovich passes up the three, gives it to Lipsy for one, and he knocks it down. Second three for Taman Lipsy. Truitt throws it away. Lipsy the steal, his 300th of his career. Now Bateman, a right wing three. Good in transition.
That's our guy, John Walters from the Iowa State. That's John Walters, right? Was the Iowa State guy? I can't remember off the top of my head. I think that's John Walters from the Iowa State Cyclones radio network.
Yes, it is.
Yes. 91-42, a 49-point win for the Iowa State Cyclones.
I read it was the second worst loss in ASU history. They lost by 50 once, but yeah, second worst ever.
1 of 19 from 3 were the Sun Devils in that game. They were down 29 at the half in that contest. 45. They had 16 points in the entire first half. All right, as you know, Bobby Hurley, again, as Michelle said, not fired. His contract not going to be renewed. As a result of that, he's been placed on administrative leave for the remainder of his contract, which all contracts run through the end of fiscal.
What does that mean? Does that mean just
June
like give
30th.
us your keys? You can't get in the building anymore?
I would think so. Yeah. It's like we're still, they're paying him through the end of his contract, which ends on June 30th. But yeah, you don't, thanks for everything. And, you don't have to come to
Here's
work
a
anymore.
box for your stuff.
I'm sure they'll let him come clean out his office. I mean, he's been there 11 years. I don't think it's going to be like the cops hanging
Security,
around.
yeah. I don't think security's like grabbing him by each arm.
I would hope Graham did not send security to clear out his office and within a box.
I was going to say, though, but 11 years? That's a long time, guys.
Yeah, it is.
That's a long time. I mean, some coaches, Coach Tang, guys like that, you're not winning. You make some of the comments or be some of the ways that Bobby was, I thought it would have been years ago. I mean, but hey, 11 years, man, that's a long run, man. He made a lot of money, a lot of generational wealth for his family, and he still has an opportunity to go find a job somewhere on the East Coast.
Yeah, and we always see Coach Hurley on the sidelines, right, with his antics. We saw him when he was a player at Duke, but DK, I've never heard anybody talk about Coach Hurley in that program not being liked by the support staff, for instance. Like, he treats everybody with respect. He's a very respectful person, a very thoughtful person off the court. We heard that story, from Kyle about how he just stopped the bus to give somebody some money on the street.
It was wearing a Bobby Hurley jersey.
So, I mean, all signs point to Bobby Hurley being liked in the building, just the love-hate from the fan base and maybe not getting it done in the win-loss column, but doesn't mean he's going to be asked to grab a box and clean out his, office under security watch. I think he, has a chance to say goodbye to everybody, but administrative leave, you got to move on as fast as possible. Like Michelle said, portal's opening. You got to get somebody in that seat as fast as possible.
One game already in progress, the early game in Kansas City. 16th-ranked Texas Tech up on Iowa State, the 7th-ranked team in the country, 19-17.
Real quick, Kelvin, how about a number 16 team in the country and a number 7 team in the country playing in the quarterfinals of a conference tournament? I mean, we might have seen that in the pack in the finals.
Yeah.
Right.
No, that's crazy. And hey, we got to talk about Jaden Bradley being player of the year and, people – thinking that he shouldn't have won and who should have won or not. We have to speak on that.
We'll get to that. We will definitely get to that coming up. I do want to get to what Bobby said yesterday and his players said yesterday about his legacy at the university or Arizona State University. This was obviously before they knew he was definitely gone.
Chancellor Johnson, Big 12 Conference. Bobby, you've never really shied away from the reports regarding your future. 11 years is a long time. If this is the last time you coach Arizona State, what has it meant for you to represent this program?
It's been a long road. It's been a special time. I
I have two of my kids graduated from ASU. I've had the opportunity to coach some fantastic young men, and had some terrific moments over the years. And it's a great university, great administration, my president, and I'm not sure what's going to happen because I don't know. I haven't spoken directly about my future next year to this point, but I don't have any regrets. I laid it out on the line to the best that I could every night. So I told the guys I did, and I know they did it for each other this year, and I did it, until the last buzzer sounded.
Okay, let's go in the front row on the right.
Alan, I asked Mo this earlier, but what do you want the fans to know about the coach that's sitting to your right?
He's done everything he could. He fought really hard. He's a human being like everybody. He doing what he got to do. He's a father. He's a brother. He's a friend. So it's all props to him.
Any other questions? Okay.
All right, that was the Alan McKeeba speaking on his coach yesterday after this. That was after the game, obviously, and a little bit before, as Michelle reported, they found out back at the hotel that his tenure was indeed over at Arizona State University. Let's give you the rest of the scores that are happening. No other finals on the board. We got a lot of conference tournaments going on, games in progress. Big East tournament quarterfinal. St. John's is leading Providence by 21 points, 48-27. ACC tournament quarterfinal. 10th ranked Virginia on top of NC State, 33-32. We do have how about this? Quarterfinal of the MAC tournament. 1 minute and 31 seconds to go. Massachusetts 81, Miami of Ohio 79.
Yeah, I actually read that they weren't going to be favorites in the final.
Wow.
Once they got to the final. So, I mean, Miami being undefeated at 31-0 is an unbelievably amazing story. And you dig a little deeper, they didn't beat a quad one team. I think they're 93rd in net ranking currently with an undefeated record. So, and a lot of close games. I think they won 8 or 9 games this year where they made shots right down the stretch of the game to get the win. So
we will keep an eye on that one for you here, which as that comes down to the conclusion, but Miami of Ohio looking at a first loss this season, a loss that everybody's talked about could come in this tournament, and how that might affect whether or not they get in.
As they've done all year, they just tied it back up. So
there you go. 81-81 with 49 seconds to go. We'll keep an eye on that. That is your scoreboard for the moment.
The Wildcats Radio 1290 Game Day Scoreboard is brought to you by Goldberg and Osborne. Goldberg and Osborne, Arizona's leading injury law firm. KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. Wildcats Radio 1290 studios are brought to you by ICCU at ICCU.com.
Along with Kelvin Ifan and JW Madden, my name is David Kelly. It is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day, getting you set for number 2 Arizona UCF in the Big 12 quarterfinals. Today, Arizona Wildcats, champions of the Big 12 Conference with a record of 16-2. They finished off that record with a win over Colorado, 89-79 on Saturday. Let's hear from the head coach of your Wildcats.
For all the questions you need answered, it's DK with TL. Our David Kelly asks Tommy Lloyd questions, and you get the answers. DK with TL is sponsored by Hughes Federal Credit Union. Hughes Federal Credit Union. We take you further.
All right, DK sort of with TL because I was not in the press conference on Monday at the McHale Center, but I might have asked him about this because it was something we talked about at length and did a poll on last week, and that was how Tommy would use his rotation in a game that did not matter. Wildcats already had wrapped up the conference title with a win over Iowa State at home, yet and still, Koa Pete played 35 minutes, Braden Burries played 33 minutes, Jaden Bradley played 34 minutes. In that game on Saturday at Boulder. You heard Tommy earlier talk about the lesson he was trying to send. Let's hear a little bit more from the head coach on why he did not play more people in Boulder on Saturday.
Maybe it was to see how the games go. I going back to Saturday, I and I told the team this today. I was going to play more guys, and then I saw we came out flat, and I was like, no, these dudes are going to wear this. They're either going to figure it out, okay, and we're going to regain our rhythm and find a way to win this game, or we're going to lose. But I'm not going to give these top 8 guys any excuses where, well, we lost because coach changed the rotation, or we lost because, no, because those, CD and Evan don't deserve that. They don't deserve that scrutiny because I haven't given them enough opportunities to put the pressure of winning and losing on their shoulders. When we've asked them to help us in small bits, they have. Okay, but those top 8 dudes were going to figure it out, or they weren't, and we were going to learn from that experience one way or another. These college seasons, we were about 31 games into it, and obviously we're ending up in a situation where now it's single elimination tournaments. You gotta use every opportunity you can to learn and teach. So I felt like that would be a much more powerful teaching moment for us, and I didn't feel like we were at the risk of injury or not being running our legs out so we couldn't play on Thursday. I didn't see that happen, and so I was like, let's figure this out. And I'll give our guys credit. They figured it out in the second half, and it was a great response to if you don't come ready to play, you got to be able to flip that switch. That's going to happen sometimes, and our guys did that. But on the same token, come ready to play. That was my message.
And those are the questions that you needed answered. DK with TL is sponsored by Hughes Federal Credit Union. Hughes Federal Credit Union. We take you further.
Real quick, guys, interesting that he added on there to what he had said before was that I'm not going to put that on the guys, the 9 and 10 guys in CD Gay and Evan Nelson to have to come into that situation, and now we lose that game and people are looking at them. He didn't want to put that burden on the guys at the end of the bench. I thought that was an interesting take there.
Oh yeah, no, man. I've told guys that, many a times that where, when you're coaching a game, you want the guys that responsible for that loss to be in there. You don't want to put guys in there so they can point fingers at him. Oh, coach, you played CD, you played Evan. That's the reason why we lost. That's what the fans are going to say. When in reality, the guys that started the game, the guys that were in there getting the majority of the minutes are the guys who actually, didn't play well enough to win it. So, you hold those guys out. You force those guys to play it out. So if they do lose, you can go to them, face to face, each individual one, and say, guys, look what happened when we don't give it all. Look what happened when we look beyond the next game. We have to look at the game at hand. This is a great lesson for, going into tournament play, because it's no tomorrow if you come in lackadaisical and try to turn on the lights late. Sometimes when you try to turn those lights on, they don't come on.
Yeah, we talk about flipping switches and how difficult that is to do. You've prepared for 29, 30 games to get ready for March. That's what this is all about. The entire season is preparing for that. So what are you going to do? Flip your mindset and just say, we don't care, we'll lose a game here? Like, that doesn't really work out. We talked several things leading up to that game, DK. Number one, try and tell those 5 starters and the 3 guys off the bench to, we don't care about this loss. We don't care about losing a game in Boulder. We've already wrapped it up. And number 2, Monday, Saturday, Thursday, right? I mean, they've literally played, this game coming up today will be the 3rd game they've played in 13 days. So they had a long break, talked about the 2 days off. And that message that Coach sent there, the message of you will own this because you're the ones who got out to this 0-10 deficit. You're the ones who let Colorado come out strong, a little lackadaisical to start. There will be moments in the Big 12 tournament. There will be moments in the NCAA tournament where those types of runs happen against you. How do you deal with that? Learning to deal with those moments, like we talked about earlier, not taking timeouts and fighting your way through it. That's the lesson they've been teaching all year long. 4 freshmen in this rotation. You got to keep that mentality. You got to keep the winning mentality and fighting through adversity going. So I love the idea that those guys played. There's no chance that they're going to tire their legs out in a game on the 7th of March leading into the game on the 12th of March in the Big 12 tournament.
There you go. Arizona and UCF to open up the Big 12 quarterfinals today. And the run in Kansas City for your Wildcats. Let's get a break in here. We'll come back. We'll get a scouting report on UCF. That is straight ahead. We'll talk to Matt Marshall from the Orlando Sentinel This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day on Wildcats Radio 1290.
So, what is it that scares you the most?
Issues can put your life on pause. But with anytime emergency scheduling, the neighborly done right promise, and more, Mr. Rooter Plumbing will have your life flowing again in no time.
All fixed.
Much better.
Mr. Rooter is proud to cheer on the Cats. Mention this ad for 10% off any plumbing service. A win for the whole family. Bear down, Arizona.
Mr. Rooter Plumbing,
a neighborly company.
So, what is it that scares you the most?
The blue trucks from Essential Pest Control, Doctor. They leave bugs belly up.
I use one of those national companies.
Thanks, Doc. Those guys don't scare me.
Spring is bug season. Go blue with Essential Pest Control. We'll eliminate those bugs, bees, and termites. Buy local and stop paying too much with those national providers. Essential Pest Control is a bug's worst nightmare.
I can't sleep at night.
Essential Pest Control. Call 866-3029. That's 866-3029. Or visit essentialpest.com.
It's a full court press this March at Casino del Sol and Casino of the Sun. Join our $1 million March Mania promotion for your shot at $1 million with your bracket picks. Or win $100,000 with a perfect prop card, now through April 6th. Swipe your Club Soul card daily for a free drawing entry. Plus, every 200 slot and table points is an additional entry. Then join us April 6th for the grand finale drawing, only at Casino del Sol, an enterprise of the Pascua Yaqui tribe.
Morning begins in the Rincon Foothills. Rocking K, a master-planned community and place to call home, offering distinct neighborhoods designed to fit your lifestyle. Explore the outdoors, walk the trails, visit Saguaro National Park. Enjoy community parks and make new friends at Rocking K resident events. Walk to Vail School District's newest campus in Rocking K, Saguaro Creek. 17 model homes, 6 quality builders. Move-in ready homes available from the 300s. Rocking K, designed by nature. A community by design.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Spring is on its way, and we all know that extreme heat comes next. Right now is the time to get your car or truck road trip ready. And with 14 convenient locations, 6 decades of service, and dozens of top shop awards, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is the place. This month, get back big rebates on all your favorite major brand tires. Save more on the most affordable, long-lasting tires. Check out jackfurriers.com for details and money-saving coupons. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, here to get you there.
Get your backyard summer ready with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you want to dive in this summer, now is the time to visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilder.com. Ask about our 60-day pool. To be summer ready, First Choice is the only choice.
Up your game in a new Buick or GMC from Royal Buick GMC. At Royal, we always deliver a quality vehicle at a great price. Score a great deal with our no-pressure, non-commissioned sales staff and our transparent online pricing. Plus, Royal offers a 72-hour buyback guarantee. Score big at Royal Buick GMC, the dealership that's different. See dealer for details. Royal Buick GMC in the Tucson Auto Mall or RoyalTucson.com.
The garage is more than a place to park your car. It holds prized possessions, and for most, it's a bustling entryway to the home. That's why LiftMaster designed the first ever opener with a built-in wide-angle camera and two-way audio, so you can see what matters and secure what's inside. Ensure your family and prized possessions are secure with a reliable garage door opener that's built to last and powered by MyQ for smartphone control. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit KaiserGarage.com to learn more.
From work to errands to family life, your car takes a beating. At Recon Auto Detailing, we don't just protect it, we maintain it.
They installed my ceramic coating in shop, and now their mobile team keeps it looking brand new, right in my driveway.
Ceramic coatings, PPF, tint, all installed professionally at Recon Auto Detailing. And with our mobile detailing, we keep that fresh, protected look mile after mile. One-stop shop, zero hassle, that's Recon Auto Detailing, Ceramic Pro West, Tucson.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden. Time now for a look at today's Wildcat opponent. The Scouting Report is brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Jack Furrier, since 1960, here to get you there.
All right, UCF, the Knights, is the opponent in the quarterfinal of the Big 12 men's basketball tournament. Let's find out a little bit about what's going on with Johnny Dawkins' crew. And Matt Michelle joins us. He's with the Orlando Sentinel, and he covers the UFC Knights. And Matt, first of all, appreciate you taking some time to join us. A pretty impressive win yesterday, which kind of stopped what looked like it was going to be a disastrous end to the season with 4 straight losses. This is a team that has been up and down all year long, has gone through some streaks, but it's one of those teams that we've, like many that we've seen here in conference, that has had so many new players that came in this year. How has that affected the kind of up and down season that we've seen from UCF?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is a team that brought in 13 newcomers and basically didn't return any production from last season. You know, I mean, they had to bring in a whole new team. And so for Johnny Dawkins, it just shows as a head coach, you know, it's a challenge. Like many of these coaches are facing nowadays with the transfer portal and NIL and revenue share, you know, the idea of bringing in a whole new roster. And so it took this team a little bit of time to kind of get itself together, to gel a little bit. They spent a lot of the off season working out and trying to find ways to really kind of come together as a team. And I think they're still doing that, even throughout this season. You know, I mean, there were moments when, you know, they've played really well, and there's moments when they've had, you know, really bad streaks where they've looked kind of out of sync and disjointed. I think you saw, you know, the last 3 games of the season, you know, they really didn't look like a team that was much like they looked earlier in the year, which was kind of surprising because they'd upset BYU at BYU, looked really impressive in that game. I think they were up by almost 40 points at one point in the first half of that game. And then, you know, they come out the next game and you know, fall down by double digits, had to rally, but lose in the last second. And then, you know, get blown out by Oklahoma State, go to overtime and lose to Oklahoma State, and then basically get blown out by West Virginia. So, you know, then going into yesterday's game, you know, they didn't play well the whole game. They shot poorly, the second worst shooting performance of the season for them, looked kind of out of whack. And then the last 3, 4, 5 minutes, they started to put things together defensively and made a little bit of a run, and were able to topple Cincinnati. So this has been a team that still, I feel like in a lot of ways, it's trying to build itself together and still trying to find a way to come together and play its best basketball.
You know, they obviously talked after the game, Johnny, and the players did, about how, you know, the defense kind of was what put the charge into that comeback and allowed them to get there. Some of the switching that they did, has that kind of been their calling card? Is in terms of the games they've won, is that they play extremely well at the defensive end of the floor?
Yeah, that's really kind of Johnny Dawkins' forte is defense. You know, it's the thing he always talks about when, you know, in the last few years is when he brought players in is, you know, that's the thing they're looking for, is guys who can play defense. And, you know, they want guys who can create turnovers, who can get steals, get blocks, you know, take those turnovers and convert them into points. And I think they've done a good job of kind of changing up their defenses at times, especially in the second half. You saw they talked about that they went to almost like a zone the last 8 to 9 minutes, and I think it really kind of confused Cincinnati at times. And you know, they've been able to do that time and time again during the season. They find ways to kind of confuse the team, maybe go on a little bit of run here or there, and pull out a win. So it's been a challenge for them, and then some of their guys have done really well. And this is also a team that's been banged up. You know, Michael Stillwell, who has been their star player essentially, over the heart and soul of this team, he's been banged up for over a month. He's played well, but he's basically playing on one leg. You know, Riley Krugel, who's their top scorer, has been hurt at times. You know, he's kind of been bothered by a lower leg injury. You know, Jeremy Fomina, who was their backup center, is a guy who's really important for them because he's a big tall guy who can kind of clog up the lane. He's the guy that's missed 2 or 3 games here. So they've had moments where guys have been out, and I think that's hurt them at times. So trying to get everyone healthy, it's really difficult this time of year, but they feel like if they can continue to make a push, they'll see what happens.
Matt Michelle is our guest. He is the beat writer for the UCF Knights with the Orlando Sentinel and Tribune. It is your scouting report. It's brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Jack Furrier, since 1960 here to get you there. When you look, obviously, at this team coming into this tournament, and you know, we mentioned, obviously, that, you know, midseason, I had said here, I was like, man, this looks like a team that's that's poised to make a run. But like you said, they kind of fell there a little bit towards the end. You mentioned JaMychal Stillwell, who was the catalyst yesterday. What impresses you most about JaMychal and the game that he puts out there?
Well, I just think it's his toughness. I mean, he's a guy that goes out there and can really, he adds the toughness that this team really is at times has lacked. And when he's on the floor, you could see that. He's willing to dive after loose balls. He's willing to bang a guy in the middle and kind of become disruptive, on the offensive side. He has a decent, offensive game where he can turn around and hit a shot. But his forte really is getting rebounds. I think yesterday he had his 8th double-double of the season. When I talked to him before the season, he talked a little bit about his role model at some point was Dennis Rodman, the former Chicago Bull and Detroit Piston. And, he kind of has a little bit of that mentality, not so much the, getting technical fouls and getting in trouble, but more about, a guy who's tough out there, who's going to go after a battle for a rebound, a guy who's really going to try to give it his all at every point. That's what I mean by him being the heart and soul. I mean, when he's not on the floor, you could see this team's different. They don't necessarily have that kind of a person out there who's willing to kind of, rally the team and get them together. So him being on the floor is very important for them. And I think he's a guy too. He's got a great personality. I think the teammates really kind of enjoy being around him. And, Themis Folks, who played with him at Milwaukee, last couple of years, is those two guys have been really kind of, A and B on this team about being able to find each other, getting the ball to each other, and really kind of get the offense going. So it's been a pleasure to watch JaMychal kind of blossom this year as well.
Yeah, it was one of the things we talked about the last time around when these two teams played, was just kind of the connections with some of the players. You had a couple guys, I think 4 guys that have come from different programs where they played with each other. Themis Folks, obviously, you mentioned coming over with JaMychal Stillwell, and Themis has really turned into being one of the best distributors that college basketball has across the nation. How does he get it done? What is it that allows him to be such a high assist guy?
I think it's the vision. When he's on the floor, they like to push the ball up and down the court if they can, and he likes to try to find the guys. He's very good at driving down the lane, kind of getting defenders to kind of come to him, and then he kicks the ball out to someone maybe for a 3-pointer or for a shot. And it's something he's done really well this season. He can kind of also, he knows too, when there's moments when they need him to be that assist guy, that point guard who goes out there and gets the ball to other his teammates. But then there's also moments where they need him to score. He's had games where he scored 30 points, where he
against us.
The team really there's a moment where it's like, okay, everyone else is struggling. We need you to step up. And I think that's something that's been really impressive about him, is that he can turn it on when he needs to if the team is really struggling. And there's times when he realizes, okay, I may not have the hot hand today. I'm going to get it to some other guys maybe who have the hot hand and to find a way to kind of take advantage of things. He's been a little bit banged up as well. I don't think he's played nearly 100% over the last few games. And I thought yesterday, he wasn't nearly as effective as he's normally been, but he can also defend. And I think that's also helped them out as well, especially down the stretch.
Who's that guy maybe that could be a problem for U of A today? Maybe one of those guys at the end, off the bench, maybe one of the reserves, possibly a Jordan Burks, who's obviously really good at the defensive end of the floor. Who could be that guy that maybe causes problems for Arizona?
I think Jordan Burks is the guy. You said it right. He's a guy who's been kind of off kilter the last few games. Hasn't really had the kind of games that he's had lately, especially shooting the basketball. They've struggled shooting from 3-pointer the last 3 or 4 games. If he gets hot, he starts hitting that 3 shot. They can really kind of ride that wave of emotion and take advantage of that. They've done it several times over the season. When he kind of steps up and is able to kind of score and takes some of the defensive focus away from some of the other guys, that just helps guys like Riley Kugel, JaMychal Stillwell, Chris Johnson, the guy who's come off the bench and has done an amazing job helping fill out as well. John Bull has been a guy too, who at center, who early on I thought was just trying to get his kind of feet on the ground. He's now really developed into a really nice center, done a good job of being able to get his offensive game improving, also become a great defender as well. So I think Burks is really the key to maybe some of the success today.
Matt Marshall is our guest. It is your scouting report. It's brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Jack Furrier since 1960, here to get you there. Matt writes the beat for the Orlando Sentinel. Okay, so Matt, do the Knights have to win today to get in? Are they in if they don't win today?
I think they're in. I mean, I thought yesterday's win pretty much probably helped them to get themselves in. Now, whether or not that means it's going to be the first four or whether they're going to find themselves in like a 10th seed, you just really can't tell. I think all these projections you see, they have them at one point, as high as a 7 seed all the way to 11. I think they're in. They played a really good schedule. They've won some really good games. They've got 6 quad 1 wins right now. I mean, that's pretty impressive alone. But they haven't played well over the last few games except for yesterday. So I think if it's like they have to win, but a win today would definitely help them kind of push their way higher up in their resume, and I think would help maybe move them into a lot more safer spot than they want to be. No one wants to go to Dayton and try to have to win a game to get into the tournament. You'd rather be solidly in the tournament.
The interesting stat that they had in there, UCF as of the 7th has a wins above bubble score of 1.74. No team last season on the same day missed the tournament with a win above bubble score of 1.25. So if I have no idea what that even means, but perhaps you want to explain that to us real quick? I'm not into the analytics like that.
No, I'm not either. In fact, I'm just saying, if you knew, you could tell me, because I'm not really a big believer on that stuff. Listen, I think you look at the eye test. I'm always a big believer of the eye test. I think they've had a good, solid season. Yes, they've finished kind of poorly, but the year that they went to the NCAA tournament in 2018-19, they lost their last 2 games and were knocked out of their conference tournament and still find a way to be in there as well. So I think there's a good chance. It just depends on right now, really. Some of these, like we talk about bid stealers, some of these teams out there like UMass earlier today who knocked off Miami. I mean, those are the kind of teams you got to be careful of. But I feel like because the Big 12 is such a strong conference that UCF has done enough to get himself in there, it shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, well, and then we were talking about that right before we went to you, and you just said it. Miami of Ohio is no longer unbeaten as they fall in the quarterfinals of the MAC tournament to UMass. Hey, Matt, we appreciate you taking some time to join us. Continued success, and we'll see if both the Wildcats and the Knights are dancing here come Sunday.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on today.
Matt Murschel, he is the beat writer with the Orlando Sentinel covering the UCF Knights, and that is your scouting report for this morning.
Lowdown on the team U of A is about to face on the hardwood. The Scouting Report has been brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Jack Furrier since 1960. Here to get you there.
Advantage Air Mechanical, the team you can trust. Call 792-9400.
When it comes to the comfort and indoor air quality of your home and office, Advantage Air Mechanical has you covered. Breathing healthy air and having reliable air conditioning is important. If you or someone you know is in need of air conditioning services or a new system installation, we are here to help. Advantage Air Mechanical, 792-9400. AZROC 214570.
From work to errands to family life, your car takes a beating. At Recon Auto Detailing, we don't just protect it, we maintain it.
They installed my ceramic coating in shop, and now their mobile team keeps it looking brand new, right in my driveway.
Ceramic coatings, PPF, tint, all installed professionally at Recon Auto Detailing. And with our mobile detailing, we keep that fresh, protected look mile after mile. One-stop shop, zero hassle. That's Recon Auto Detailing, Ceramic Pro West, Tucson.
Do you often worry you left your garage door open? With the LiftMaster Garage Door Opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit kaisergarage.com to learn more.
Family outgrowing your car? Hughes Federal Credit Union can help you get the car you want and the rate you need. Hughes is one of the only financial institutions in the country that doesn't switch loan rates based on a qualified buyer's credit score. That means you get our one-rate guarantee regardless of your credit score. We promise. When it's time for your next new or used car, Hughes is here to take you further. Check out our low rates on hughesfcu.org/auto and apply today. Certain restrictions apply. Insured by NCUA.
At Goldberg & Osborne, we know Arizona. It's where we live. It's where we work. It's where we've fought and won cases for the injured since 1989. Throughout our history, we've approached every case with a single focus: you. And we've got thousands of 5-star reviews to prove it. Put us to work for you by calling 1-800-THE-EAGLE today.
Our daughter was addicted to pain meds, and for over 2 decades, she was lost to us. We tried to help, but the more we tried, the worse it got. She went to 18 different rehabs. We finally realized that to really love her, we needed to let her go, even when that meant her going to jail. When she got out, she went to Gospel Rescue Mission, and as the days turned into months, we knew we had our daughter back.
If you need help, or if you know someone who needs help, go to grmtucson.com.
Prepare yourself. Something extraordinary is about to break loose right in the center of town. Get ready for Casino del Sol. Bigger, brighter, bolder. We are where excitement doesn't just rise, it erupts. We are where fun doesn't just elevate, it takes flight. We aren't just a casino. We are the beginning of a new era. We are Casino del Sol, an enterprise of the Pasquayaki tribe.
Coach, Tommy Lloyd here with the Right Way team.
Great news. Free furnace season has been extended through the end of March. Have you been thinking about replacing your heating and cooling system this year? To spark business, we're giving away an 80% gas furnace or a heat pump air handler with the purchase of a new air conditioning system.
And we're offering up to 60 months no interest financing, manufacturer and energy efficiency rebates, and 10-year parts and labor warranty.
Call or text 520-200-2422 to book your free estimate today or visit rightwayac.com.
If it's worth doing, do it the right way.
Wildcat Nation, are you ready?
Bradley down, into the lane, lay it up and good. Previous turnaround jump hook is good. Del Orso springs a 3 out there and drains it. Milwaukee takes away the rebound and slams it home. It's a man's game.
Bear down, Cats. Our window depot coverage of University of Arizona basketball continues with Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday. The pregame show is brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. We are counting down to tip off for Arizona Wildcats basketball. This is Wildcats Radio, 1290.
Bounce it to Pete in the lane. Kick it back out. Burries a 3. High off the rim, no good. Rebound battled for and grabbed by Dak. He'll run it the other way. Dak, pass intercepted by Burries on a breakaway, slam it home.
What a change of events. You miss a 3. You don't settle. You don't sulk. You pick off the pass and take the uncontested lay-in.
Let's take a look at the Right Way rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Doing things the right way.
Still one of my favorite plays of the season. Bangkok Dak thinking he was a point guard and finding out quickly that he was not a point guard.
And that's why Big should hand the ball to a guard. That's what the play-by-play guy said right after that.
Give the ball to the guards. For sure. Final hour of our pregame show as we get you set for Arizona basketball in Kansas City today against UCF. It is the Big 12 quarterfinals. We will have our pest of the game straight ahead, who will be that knight that gets underneath the Wildcats' skin today. That's brought to you by Essential Pest Control. Can we beat the book? Arizona is a 15.5-point favorite today at the Casino del Sol. So sports over-under is 158.5. Your keys to the game, what we think the Wildcats need to do, are brought to you by Royal Automotive. Starting lineup is presented by Rocking K. We have an upset in college basketball. Oh, the life of a mid-major, especially the life of the best mid-major in the country. Unbeaten Miami of Ohio, the Redhawks, unbeaten no more.
Tied at 81 apiece. Shot clock at 15. Jump, hook in the paint, goes down again. Skaljack, 3 seconds left. Fired a 3. How about UMass? They have taken down the top seed, Miami Redhawks.
8th seed UMass, 87. Number 1 seed Miami of Ohio, 83. So much for the Redhawks taking over my hometown of Cleveland, Ohio this weekend. It's a short stay in downtown Cleveland.
Somewhere John Calipari is doing a little dance, right?
I would imagine, yeah. He put UMass on the map.
That's where he started.
Back in the day, for sure. All right, the Wildcats get the UCF Knights today. We're talking a little bit about the Knights with the beat writer Matt Marshall in that last segment. Jamichael Stillwell was the catalyst yesterday in the win over Cincinnati. And Themis Folks, the point guard we talked about, they were teammates at Milwaukee, another team from the Midwest, the Horizon League, the University of Wisconsin at Milwaukee. They made the trek down to play for Johnny Dawkins at Central Florida. Themis talks about Jamichael Stillwell's impact on the Knights.
You know, I was with him last year, so I seen this every game. But, like, you know, I told him, just be yourself out there, you know. He's an anchor on defense. He's important on offense. You know, they can't just key in on me, Riley, Burks, you know, or J-Mike's going to explode for a night like this, you know. But I think he's doing a tremendous job just being the ultimate teammate, just doing whatever the team needs because, you know, it's hard to sacrifice sometimes, you know. But him as a person and as a leader, he's doing a great job, doing what the team needs, and I'm glad he's getting his flowers on the biggest stage.
He averages, Jamichael Stillwell, J-Mike, averages 12 points and 8 rebounds. He had 8 double-doubles this season. That was 9th most in the Big 12 Conference. Jamichael, on the mentality that he expects his team to have going into this rematch with the number 2 Wildcats.
Next play mentality, you know, we know it's going to be a big game. It's a big game because we playing in it. So, you know, we just got to come in dialed in and be ready for a fight.
And we've talked about, obviously, this team and kind of their up and down season. That they at one point won, 11 games in a row, I do believe, to start this season. But then they fell into a little bit of a hole in the middle of Big 12 play where they would lose 6 of 9 before kind of getting themselves right again. 3-game winning streak in the middle. Another 3-game winning streak towards the end, and then a 3-game losing streak at the end, heading into their win yesterday over Cincinnati. Although the numbers and the wins-losses have looked inconsistent, Johnny Dawkins says the approach for his team has been very consistent.
The second half of the season, you know, I didn't learn anything because I know the league is great. Every team is very good. Every team in this league is capable of beating one another. So think about the teams in our league. Most of the teams went through different stretches, patches where they were winning a lot, and all of a sudden they're losing a lot. And we definitely were nowhere near the only team that went through something like that. And it's because of the level of competition. You know, I don't think people really appreciate how good this league really is. And like I said, I've been in multiple leagues. As a player and as a coach, I was in the ACC. As a coach, I was in the old Pac-12. So I've been in, you know, multiple conferences, and I'm telling you, from top to bottom, I haven't seen a conference that is better than this conference right here in college basketball. And I watch, as you can imagine, basketball every day, all day. That's what we do. And you know, hats off to the commissioner, hats off to this league, assembling these coaches and the talent they have on these teams. And so, yeah, absolutely. Everybody's going to have rough patches in this league. And sometimes I think people can hold that against you when, you know, not realizing that every team that you play can beat you. There's not one that you can walk into the game going, you know what, we probably got to win here. We're going to get this win over there. It's not happening in this conference. And that's why I love it, because it is so competitive.
There you go. Who's going to be that guy today for the Knights? Themis Folks, maybe one of the best distributors in the nation. Riley Kugel, possibly, leads the team in scoring at almost 15 points per clip. Jordan Burks, maybe, who is one of the better defenders on this team. Let's find out who's going to be that Knight that gets underneath the Wildcats' skin.
Who is the pest that the Wildcats need to be free from to win today's game? The Pest of the Game is brought to you by Essential Pest Control. Pest control with science. In Tucson at essentialpest.com.
Calvin Ifan, who's your pest of the game today?
Yeah, I got to go with Themis Folks, man. A guard. He's one of those guards I always talk about in tournament play that can step up, you know, and play a great game. He played great against us last time with 30 and 8. So I think he'll be a pest today.
J.W. Madden, who do you like?
I mean, there's a few guys. that are going to have the potential to be pests today, DK. But I'm going to go with Jordan Burks. And the reason I'm going to do that is because he shoots 5 threes a game. And when you have bigs, he's a forward who can stretch the court and get out there and bring your bigs away from the basket to create driving lanes, that can be an issue. So if he's successful early from out there beyond the stripe, that could change the way that Arizona defends them. So that's a guy I'm looking at early in the game, especially as potential pass.
All right. I guess I'll go. I was going to go with Jordan Burks. So I guess I'll go with JaMychal Stillwell then. He was the catalyst that got them here to this game today with what he was able to do down the stretch. And he could be that guy again today. He may not be their leading scorer, but he's definitely a guy that they go to as a scorer when they need things to happen. I mentioned 9th in the Big 12 in double-doubles this season. And a capable three-point shooter, which the Knights are going to have to do a little bit to win today. And this is a decent, they're a decent free throw shooting team across the board. So if JaMychal can get to the line as well today, that could cause some problems for the Arizona Wildcats. All right, those are the guys we think will get underneath the Wildcats' skin in Kansas City.
That's our best of the game. Brought to you by Essential Pest Control. Pest control with science. In Tucson at essentialpest.com.
Real quick, DK.
Yes.
We're talking with Mr. Merschel there about the resume. If people don't understand how NCAA selection works, it's based on good wins and bad losses. Currently, UCF is the 50th net ranked team.
Right
on that cusp. But what if I told you they have 7 wins over top 50 net ranking teams this year, all very, very good wins, and no losses to any team 75 or higher. So all of their losses fall within the 75 and under net rankings. So 1 through 75 is their net ranked losses. No bad losses, really, on their resume. No quad 3 or quad 4 losses, especially. So even if they lose today, it would be surprising to me anyway if they weren't a part of the at-large bid process, because that's a very good resume. You talk about the up and down nature with their roster overhaul, but no really bad losses on this year's schedule. So despite the fact they brought in so many new players, DK, they really haven't suffered that the committee looking at, well, we would put them in except for this 1 or 2 games that they lost.
We'll see on Sunday if they get in. If not, maybe they're headed to the Crown, because that tournament is still out there for the best of the Big 12 that don't get in to the NCAA tournament for sure. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. I want to circle back to Jaden Bradley because, of course, he was announced this week as the Big 12 Player of the Year. And there's been a lot of debate about that this week, about whether he was deserving of that. The coaches are the ones that make that decision. So clearly we don't get the voting on it, but clearly the coaches thought he was the best in the league. Let's hear first from Tommy Lloyd on Jaden Bradley.
Obviously, we had a great regular season. And usually when you have a great regular season, individual accolades will follow. Obviously I'm really happy for Jaden. Jaden's, just been so steady, and you know how much we value steady around here, and he's had such a good year, and it had so many impactful, meaningful moments, and just, has been a game changer. So, I'm really proud of him and what he's done for our team, and it's really cool that it got acknowledged by the other coaches in the league.
Were you at all surprised that Jaden got the Player of the Year, given that he doesn't have the stats that?
Not really. I think coaches value different things than stats. I think stats are easy for, people on the periphery to get, enamored with. And I think stats, coaches really value winning. And for me, and I know when I sit behind the scenes and all these, when you're figuring out who deserves what award or not, to me, my eye always go to the first place team and whoever the most impactful guy is on the first place team. And that's usually where I decide, if I'm going to vote for that guy. That's where I'll start. I'm not saying that's what I vote for, but that's where I would always start. So I think a lot of the coaches, they probably had the same mindset.
What do you think really differentiated Jaden? I know you talked about his leadership all season, but really made him stand out on such a stacked roster.
just his impact on winning, and and he was our leader. He was our leader, on a day-to-day basis with these guys, and for him to be, he was once a McDonald All-American. Let's not forget about that. So this guy's a really talented player, but he gets a little, longer in the tooth in his college career, and then to trust a coaching staff to bring in some young, really talented players and tell him that we think this is the right way to go for our team to be successful, and then to trust that, and then once those freshmen are here, to accept them and really help them grow and give them space to be the best versions of themselves. I mean, says a lot about Jaden as a person and a teammate, and yeah, I mean, I think Jaden's one guy that some people. They're just the common denominator in winning, and he's one of those guys that if you look at a lot of winning programs, I mean, somebody had told me he's run a conference championship in 3 different conferences, which is pretty crazy, and playing different roles on every team. He won one in the SEC, won one in the Pac-12, and won one in the Big 12, and and each time he played a different role. So I think that's pretty impressive.
That's a pretty impressive stat right there to think about it. When you go back, obviously he started his career at Alabama. They won an SEC title there his freshman year. Then he came here playing a reserve role behind Caleb Love and those guys his sophomore year, and he was a part of that team that won a Pac-12 championship and now leading a team to a Big 12 championship. Kelvin, that's about as impressive as it gets for a basketball player's career.
I mean, that's it, man. And I was sitting here and getting ready to defend Bradley, and his coach said everything. He said it all. I've been echoing that. If you guys could go back and and listen to some of our pre-games, I've been saying that all year. I've been saying that his leadership by stepping back and letting those freshmen do their thing, it really showed in that last game where those guys went off. And instead of him saying, hey, I'm a senior, this is my last road game, man, I'm going to go for 30, I'm going to shoot 30 shots, or I'm going to shoot 43 shots like Bam Adebayo, but you know what I'm saying? Like, no, what he did was he said, I'm going to do what's best for the team, because if these freshmen are playing well going into the tournament, man, we're going to have a better chance of being successful. And so initially after that last game, Berries came on strong. I guarantee you he was second in voting. I wonder what you two guys think about that. But I think that Berries was second in the voting, and I think it came down to him being a senior, him being a guy that the team could count on for that start that they had. Bradley had everything. His name was written all over that. Core Pete was a little up and down. Berries started slow, so he was the consistent there. It was a couple games that he didn't score high, but he didn't really shoot a lot of shots. So I think at the end of the day, they got it right. You get the best player off the best team. I hate it when they put the top scorer from a team. I'm like, if he's at the top scorer, he should have won some more games. Figured out a way to get it done. So yeah, no, I think they got it right.
That's a very interesting question, Kelvin. Stating that Burries was probably second. I don't know that I believe that. I don't know what the voting was. I don't know that I believe that. I mean, I would believe that probably AJ was second, and I could maybe even have belief that maybe JT Toppin might have even gotten enough votes to be third. I would think Braden was probably a little bit further down the line than second. J-Dub?
Well, I mean, it's most valuable player or best player. Like AJ DeBonsa, is probably the best player, right? But if you take AJ DeBonsa off of BYU, they're a completely different team. That same logic for Jaden Bradley. Jaden Bradley is the most valuable player for this Arizona Wildcats basketball team. Game preseason through the end of the regular season. If you took Jaden Bradley, never played a single game for this Arizona team, they have 5-10 losses, right? I mean, he was so clutch down the stretch of games, especially getting those freshmen onboarded and ready to play in the Big 12. I mean, come on. I mean, they played 14 NCAA tournament level games in the conference this year without Jaden Bradley's steadiness and him being a guy, Kelvin, who can help translate what the coaching staff is trying to tell some of those younger players, right? Like, that's such a huge role, I think, that goes understated, that the upperclassmen, especially your guards, who've been around a system for 3 years, he understands exactly what Coach Lloyd is looking for. So helping those younger players and those younger wing players get into the system as quickly as possible. I think if you take Jaden Bradley off this team, it's a completely different situation. You take Braden Burries off the team, maybe somebody else picks up scoring. No disrespect. Obviously, Braden Burries is a great player. But you can't give best player, most valuable player of a league to a team that's the 10 seed out of 16 teams in the tournament. And Richie Saunders going down had a lot to do with that. But I think we talked about it prior to the award, Kelvin. Best player, best team was the philosophy that the Pack always had. I think that's what the coaches did for this vote. I think they picked the best player from the best team, the most important player to the best team, and that's Jaden Bradley this year.
Well, I'll ask you, Jada, what did you think? I want to say something else, DK, about that. The reason why I say Berries again is I think these coaches value winning. And Toppin definitely was a winner, but he got injured. And I think he deserves first team all conference, right, which he got, unanimous decision, which he got. But I just believe that you're like third or fourth down. Texas Tech, they finished, what, third, fourth?
Yeah.
Right. So I just think Berries had so much to do with the winning. I'm just say this. I definitely think that Bradley, because of all the intangibles I said before, but Berries is the true MVP of this team at the end of the day. You know, from what he really was able to do on the court, times that he stepped up in games that we probably would have lost if we didn't have Berries here. Anybody go back and tell me, because he shot the ball. I mean, he went to the rim and scored the ball. He did things that Caleb Love could do, but didn't quite have the same team, right?
Yeah.
So I just think at the end of the day, to me, he's the true, but Bradley is because of the things that we all have said.
The mark of a great team, David Kelly, is that it's hard to pick who's the most important player.
Yeah.
I mean, what about Moteus Krivas? I mean, Moteus Krivas is a top 5 defensive efficiency national player right now. What Mo did this year speaks volumes in that what he didn't do last year because he was injured. Look at last year's roster and last year's results and how difficult it was to get the ball inside. This year, they just dominated the paint. So, Jaden Bradley, Braden Burries, Mo Krivas, Tobe Awaka, the greatest rebounder in the nation. There are multiple guys on this team who all helped in producing that overall gaudy record. I just think the coaches went with best player, best team, best player on the best team, and that's obviously, up for debate. But there's no doubt that Jaden Bradley, fits in that conversation and is worthy of that award.
Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day, Wildcats, UCF on tap. Quick check of your Goldberg and Osborne scoreboard. 14 minutes to go, second half. Number 5, Iowa State leading number 4 seed Texas Tech, 49-39. The winner of this game plays the winner of the game to come between the Wildcats and the Knights.
Yeah, Tech, unfortunately, without Toppin there, they just got to knock down outside shots. That's what they've done since Toppin's gone down. They kind of switched to more of an outside game, perimeter game, and if they're not knocking their shots down, it's more difficult for them to score. Toppin, fixed a lot of problems for that team.
Much more straight ahead. We'll tell you who's going to beat the book or who's going to try to beat the book today. It is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 2 of the pregame show is brought to you by Bear Down Roofing, Dorado Rock, Essential Pest Control, Goodfellas AC, Hughes Federal Credit Union, Johnson Manley Company, JT Auto, Lexus of Tucson, Mr. Rooter, Recon Auto Detail, Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Rocking K, a master plan community designed by nature, Factory Direct Mattress, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
The Target, 422 Maple Drive. No tripped alarms, no broken windows. While you were sleeping, they made off with $50,000 in equity, and they didn't even use a getaway car.
Nate here, owner of Blue Sky Pest Control. Don't let termites turn your equity into sawdust. We stop the heist before the damage is done. Call 520-201-2000 for your free termite inspection. Hello, Blue Sky. Goodbye, termites.
Coach, Tommy Lloyd here with the Right Way team.
Great news. Free furnace season has been extended through the end of March. Have you been thinking about replacing your heating and cooling system this year? To spark business, we're giving away an 80% gas furnace or a heat pump air handler with the purchase of a new air conditioning system.
And we're offering up to 60 months no interest financing, manufacturer and energy efficiency rebates, and 10-year parts and labor warranty.
Call or text 520-200-2422 to book your free estimate today or visit rightwayac.com.
If it's worth doing, do it the right way.
Why do I spend so much time educating our youth about financial wellness? I have seen the fire ignite inside of young adults when I show them how the power of compound investing can change their futures. This is Natalie Fernandez at Meridian Wealth Management, and I'm committed to affecting change with our youth. An idea for all of you listening today, gift a Roth IRA contribution for the holidays or birthdays for your kids and grandkids. Contact our office at 520-719-1433 for guidance and details. The change begins with us.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
It's a full court press this March at Casino del Sol and Casino of the Sun. Join our $1 million March Mania promotion for your shot at $1 million with your bracket picks. Or win $100,000 with a perfect prop card. Now through April 6th. Swipe your Club Soul card daily for a free drawing entry. Plus, every 200 slot and table points is an additional entry. Then join us April 6th for the grand finale drawing. Only at Casino del Sol, an enterprise of the Pascua Yaqui tribe.
Up your game in a new Buick or GMC from Royal Buick GMC. At Royal, we always deliver a quality vehicle at a great price. Score a great deal with our no-pressure, non-commissioned sales staff and our transparent online pricing. Plus, Royal offers a 72-hour buyback guarantee. Score big at Royal Buick GMC, the dealership that's different. See dealer for details. Royal Buick GMC in the Tucson Auto Mall or RoyalTucson.com.
So hot. Hi, can I help you? Good afternoon. We're with Goodfellas AC Rapid Response Team. But I didn't call yet.
That's how fast we are, man.
Just as I thought. This AC is out.
No, we're not gonna lose it. Come on. Come on. Don't you die on me.
Johnson, get a hold of yourself. Sorry, we take this very seriously.
Wow, you fellas are good.
It's not just a name, ma'am.
It's who we are kind of thing.
Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. GoodfellasAC.com.
At Goldberg and Osborne, we know Arizona. It's where we live. It's where we work. It's where we've fought and won cases for the injured since 1989. Throughout our history, we've approached every case with a single focus: you. And we've got thousands of 5-star reviews to prove it. Put us to work for you by calling 1-800-THE-EAGLE today.
Hi guys, I'm back. What's new?
Tucson Appliance Scratch and Dent Studio.
All the Scratch and Dent merchandise has its own new studio.
There were so many Scratch and Dent discounted items. Now they have a place of their own.
I love it. A whole Scratch and Dent studio right next to Tucson Appliance. They don't look like Scratch and Dent,
but it shows in the low prices.
Tucson Appliance Scratch and Dent Studio. Proud local supporters of the Southern Arizona Heartball. Only at Tucson Appliance, where you are a priority.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
Shot clock at 6. Bradley, left wing, Aristotle. Baseline jumper, Pete. Good again.
That guy is feeling it.
When your team's not playing good, it's great to have a guy like that step up and kind of keep your team in the game. I mean, I think he got to his spots. He made a few shots. He finished with force at the rim.
Bradley drives left into the lane, throw it inside. Pete slams home another 2.
Koa Pete was big time in the game on Saturday, especially in the first half for the Arizona Wildcats. He would finish with 25 points. Kept them in the game when they were down 11 early. 12 of 15 from the floor for Koa Pete, who's had more than he has scored. The 25 he had was more than he had scored in his previous 4 games combined prior to that, including missing 3 games with a muscle strain. So good to see the young freshman back and playing well. He also had 4 assists.
Yeah, Kelvin, I think 12 for 15 is what we expect, right? Like watching the 2 for 11 versus Kansas in that loss. I mean, Koa's a 60+% field goal shooter. Like he should be taking those shots in his comfort zone, right 10 feet and in, and dunking a lot of dunks. And that game versus Colorado, he kept them in early and often.
Oh yeah, no, he was aggressive, and coming back off of that injury, you can see that he feels real good, and it's great to have him playing so well going into the tournament. You want him feeling good about himself, young guy excited about playing in the NCAA tournament.
We talked about, obviously, Jaden Bradley, your Big 12 Player of the Year. He was also first team All Big 12. He was also on the All Defensive team. Other awards, Toby Awaka, Big 12 Sixth Man of the Year. Honorable mention, All Big 12. Braden Burries, first team All Big 12, All Freshman team. Koa Pete, third team All Big 12, All Freshman team. Motias Krivas, first team All Big 12, All Defensive team. And Tommy Lloyd, Big 12 Coach of the Year. Let's hear from Tommy on the other Big 12 honorees not named Jaden Bradley.
Tobe, to basically ask and be okay with coming off the bench. I think he's very deserving of the Sixth Man Award, and his impact on these games has been tremendous. And then, for Braden and Koa, to get the accolades they got, being freshmen in this conference, with, they came in, heralded, and they delivered, and I think that's really impressive. And then Mo, I really challenged Mo at the start of the year and kind of in our preseason conversations. Like I thought a goal of his should be to be a first team all conference big guy. And, I figured if he was close to that, it would mean he had a good year and it would really help our team. And he delivered. I mean, he just seems like his impact has grown over the course of the year, and it's been great. And then, I think we had, those other guys, Delhi, could have been right there for Sixth Man of the Year. Dwayne's coming on lately, obviously his season got interrupted with an illness, but then Yvonne has had an amazing impact for a freshman, and is very deserving probably in most years of being a first team, all freshman, type of guy. But, obviously there's a lot of good freshmen in the league this year. So I think he's understanding of that, and I think he has a really bright future.
Rough year for a freshman in the conference, DK, because of all those names at the top. I mean, Peterson, obviously, and DeBonsa took all the headlines in the preseason and lived up to that hype when they were on the court. But, man, this is the best freshman class, Kelvin, I've ever seen in any conference. I mean, we talk about the Fab Five back in our day, Kelvin, but top to bottom from all of the freshmen and from all the schools in the Big 12, just unbelievable class.
All that talk of high school players, teams getting older, teams dominating, just by having guys that have been around 5-6 years. The high school players are still important. Right now it's the top players in the nation, but some of those players that are not ranked, they go to the mid-majors, they go to the D2s that end up making all conference and moving up levels. So high school players still got a lot to look forward to. Because again, the game is always going to need them, and yeah, that's the first thing that I think of when I think of all those great freshmen that made this league great this year.
All right, let's pause here 10 seconds for station identification. Ooh, look at these. I'm seeing the introductions here. I don't know if that was the introductions or they were just showing stuff on the floor. Interesting graphic. We're still getting a feel for what this glass floor LED is capable of, but they had an interesting video there they were playing right before the return to action. The court is a little bit different. It's more of a traditional court look with the hardwood, but more of a gray hardwood today for the Iowa State Texas Tech game. I think I like. Do you like that one better, J-Dub, or do you like the gray, the other gray that they had yesterday? I think I like this one.
I mean, better. From a viewer perspective at a home front, you got your big, 1,000-inch TV at home and you're in your man cave or whatever and you're watching the game. The court this year is very dull. But the court last year was so contrasting because of the Roman numerals. They were too dark or too light on a dark background, however that was. This year, they've definitely muted that down a little bit. It works well when the jerseys stand out, right?
Yeah.
So you're talking about like that Baylor yellow or whatever shows up quite well on this court. But, yeah, I mean, there's got to be a middle ground there. Personally, I don't think gray is a great choice for a basketball court to begin with. I think the wood color is great. You could put anything on that court. We'll see. I mean, we'll see what the consensus is. I'm more curious, Kelvin, to hear what the U of A players have to say in the post game, because what the players' personal experience is. In the past, we've seen these LED courts, these computer screen type courts. When there's a bright surface to it, it shines up into the player's eyes. And if you look at some of those videos, you'll see a bright, like those really stark, high contrast colors in the player's eyes. That's got to affect your ability to play the game. Dark gray is not going to do that, but it's just whatever it looks best on the TV at home, I think is what Brett Yormark's goal is.
Yeah, I just can't wait to see what the players say about it. I haven't heard anyone complaining really. And at the end of the day, players and coaches are in the mind of, hey, if they have to play on it, we have to play on it. It is what it is, so it's fair. But yeah, I'm interested to see, what the players say of how, the grip is and how the floor really, feels to play on.
There was one guy, right?
Taj Manning from Kansas State is the only one I've heard who's absolutely ripped it. But, I mean, there were a few that said that they thought there was slippage to it, but Taj Manning absolutely ripped it and said they should never bring this back.
Oh, see, there you go. And at the end of the day, it should be what the players think, And if you are going to put a new court on there and you're making all that money, are you sharing some of that revenue? Because I'm sure that'll make them feel a little better about it.
All right, let's get to find out who's going to be. Did I get the ID in? I got on a tangent there, J-Dub. Did I get that in?
Oh, we'll do it right now.
Okay, let's do that.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. Wildcats Radio 1290 studios are brought to you by ICCU at ICCU.com. Tucson, it's time to beat the book. Will the Cats beat the spread? It's time to look at the numbers and find out how you should bet the book so you can beat the book. Bet the Book is sponsored by Casino del Sol. Casino del Sol, home of award-winning dining, gaming, resorts, and golf.
All right, let's find out who's going to beat the book today. DK still on top. I think I gained a game, so it is now back to plus 12. J-Dub is plus 4 behind. Kelvin is under -4 and 8 games behind. Arizona is a 15.5-point favorite in this game over UCF. We'll start with Kelvin. Kelvin, UCF plus 15.5, Arizona minus 15.5.
Yeah, no, I think UCF is going to be desperate, and they're going to, throw the kitchen sink at Arizona. So, yeah, I definitely will take the points with UCF.
Oh, okay. JW Madden.
Yeah, same. I think the court's going to be interesting. The fight from UCF more than anything. I mean, just remember, what was the game the first time around? It was a 2-possession game or whatever. In fact, UCF was one of the few teams to hang on the rebounds. We'll talk about that in keys. But, yeah, I really like the UCF defense. I think Coach Dawkins has been around the game now for 5 decades. But I really like his game plan going in and keeping teams off balance. So I think UCF keeps it within that 15 points. So I'll take them.
Interesting. All right. For some reason, I feel good with U of A today. I think U of A is going to cover that 15 easily. I could see a 20-point win for the Wildcats today. 158.5. These games have all been low scoring.
I was going to say, there's no doubt Arizona's motivated, right, to play their best possible basketball. That is a factor. I just think UCF's fight will be there.
Okay. These games have been relatively low scoring, including the game that went to overtime yesterday. So I'm going to go under a 158.5.
I've been seeing shooting splits in the 30s, Kelvin.
Like if that's got anything to do with the court.
We talk about the court, but I think those rims are a little bent, is what I think.
Kelvin, what do you think? Over or under?
Oh, definitely under.
Definitely under. Okay.
What was the number you said?
158.5.
Yeah, under.
Okay. All right. Everybody's taking the under. Kelvin and J-Dub are taking UCF in the 15.5. DK is laying the 15.5 and going with Arizona. And this one, we'll find out who beats the book coming up tonight on the postgame show.
That is how you bet the book so you can beat the book. Bet the Book is sponsored by Casino del Sol. Casino del Sol, home of award-winning dining, gaming, resorts, and golf.
Back your hometown favorite. Get your very own exclusive University of Arizona debit card from Hughes Federal Credit Union. Pair your new card with a free checking account that earns dividends with no monthly fees, no minimum balance, and convenient 24/7 online and mobile banking. Visit one of our 7 convenient branch locations to get your card instantly or open an account online at hughesfcu.org/wildcats. Show your Wildcat spirit all year long with Hughes Federal Credit Union. Certain restrictions apply. Insured by NCUA.
Morning begins in the Rincon foothills. Rocking K, a master-planned community and place to call home, offering distinct neighborhoods designed to fit your lifestyle. Explore the outdoors, walk the trails, visit Saguaro National Park. Enjoy community parks and make new friends at Rocking K resident events. Walk to Vale School District's newest campus in Rocking K, Saguaro Creek. 17 model homes, 6 quality builders, move-in ready homes available from the 300s. Rocking K, designed by nature. A community by design.
Wildcat fans, where do you go when the final buzzer sounds? You don't head home. You head to Roadhouse Cinemas and Roadies, Tucson's home court for great food, craft beer, and nonstop fun. At Roadies, you can bowl, throw an axe, play arcade games, or grab a burger while the next game plays on the massive screens. Then, catch the newest movies right next door at Roadhouse Cinemas with luxury recliners and full in-seat dining. Game days, movie nights, anytime. Make it a win at Roadhouse Cinemas and Roadies on the corner of Grant and Swan.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
Spring is in the air and our warm temperatures are about to turn hot. Now is the time to take advantage of pre-summer savings before the hot summer weather. Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing is offering 5-year, no-interest financing on the installation of green HVAC systems, OAC. Call now for your free estimate, 520-492-0748, or make your appointment online at picturerockscooling.com.
Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
Hi, this is Natalie Fernandez with Meridian Wealth Management. As a boutique fiduciary investment firm, our clients have trusted us to guide them down their financial paths for decades. Whether you are an individual or family, business, foundation, or nonprofit, we are committed to your long-term goals and financial futures. We are proud supporters of the Tucson community and all that makes our city so special. Visit online at meridianwealthllc.com to learn more about Meridian today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
So, what is it that scares you the most?
The blue trucks from Essential Pest Control, Doctor. They leave bugs belly up.
I use one of those national companies.
Thanks, Doc. Those guys don't scare me.
Spring is bug season. Go blue with Essential Pest Control. We'll eliminate those bugs, bees, and termites. Buy local and stop paying too much with those national providers. Essential Pest Control is a bug's worst nightmare.
I can't sleep at night.
Essential Pest Control. Call 866-3029. That's 866-3029. Or visit essentialpest.com.
It's Truck Month at O'Reilly Chevrolet, and supplier pricing is going on right now. Check out our great lineup and save big. Get up to $12,475 off the 2026 Silverado LD, up to $7,500 off the 2025 Blazer EV, and up to $2,500 off the 2026 Traverse. Truck Month is happening now. Find us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or go to O'Reilly.com. O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
The garage is more than a place to park your car. It holds prized possessions, and for most, it's a bustling entryway to the home. That's why LiftMaster designed the first ever opener with a built-in wide-angle camera and two-way audio, so you can see what matters and secure what's inside. Ensure your family and prized possessions are secure with a reliable garage door opener that's built to last and powered by MyQ for smartphone control. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit kaisergarage.com to learn more.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now, back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Yvonne, and J.W. Madden.
Rebound tip and loose, grabbed by Awaka, and a new 20 to shoot. To Pete, to Aristote. Inside Awaka, wide open, lays it in.
Great vision from Dwayne Aristote as Tobe Awaka slipped free.
Arizona, Central Florida, UCF straight ahead here on Wildcats Radio 1290. Final segment of our show. We got you to the bottom of the hour. Brian Jeffries, Ryan Hansen will take over after that. Your availability report sponsored by nobody. Jump on that if you'd like, 520-887-1000. You can be the sponsor of the availability report. Very interesting. I just pulled this up for today's game. UCF is listing 2 starters, Riley Kugel and JaMichael Stillwell, as game time decisions today.
Do you want to change our bet, Kelvin? Or how's that work?
I'll give you that opportunity.
No. I'm comfortable with it. I think those guys, Kelvin, those guys are going to go. I mean, UCF is 50th in net, but that doesn't mean that's not a guarantee. So those guys, unless they're in the hospital, they're going to go.
That's interesting.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I don't recall real quick. I don't recall either one of them, getting injured in yesterday's game, but that is the case. Go ahead, Calvin.
Yeah, no, man, I'm they're going. Period. They're going.
17 points, 15 rebounds, obviously, last year. I'm not seeing anything on the reason why Jamichael Stillwell might be a game-time decision, but that's where we are with that right there. All right, 520-848-1290, final chance for you to get in on our program today. The Wildcats playing their second Big 12 tournament in Kansas City. There will be fans there, I would imagine. In fact, I mentioned Channel 13 is the lone TV station on the ground there. They interviewed two fans in the airport on their layover in, I believe it was Denver, and it was legendary Arizona softballer Stacey Iveson and her husband Tom, who traveled to the game to cheer on their Cats. Tommy Lloyd always appreciates the Arizona fan base.
Fans are a force. Our fans are, the backbone of our program. And, Arizona's had a long, strong basketball tradition way before I was even born. We love coming on the road and hearing the U of A chants and all of our fans out there. It just reminds us, how special it is for us to be representing University of Arizona basketball.
There you go. So we'll see how many folks. The crowd, just from what we can see on TV, the crowds look pretty good today. The building, I believe, holds 17,000, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sorry, 12,477.
Do a little inside baseball here?
Sure.
So I do have the queue of the stadium now during the Texas Tech Iowa State game, and I will say I did just hear U of A chants.
Okay.
So
nice.
Whatever that's worth.
There you go. I like to hear that for sure. I want to go back to something here, GW75, that Tommy said after the game at CU, and it was just one of the reasons he felt like they got down early, and one of the maybe points of emphasis moving into this tournament and to the postseason is just kind of how Arizona is approaching some things at the defensive end of the floor.
We got to be a little more disciplined in some situations with our coverages and, our recoveries. We've been a really, really good defensive team at times this season, and, we're at our best defensively when we're limiting our mistakes.
Coverages and recoveries, guys. What potentially is he talking about there that the Wildcats need to be better at? Kelvin, we'll start with you.
Well, basically, I think, sometimes we get into situations where I've said it before, we're a little bit in the middle where we're not really double teaming, but we're not denying. And at this point in the year, man, you either helping or you're denying. You're not in between because you understand what the team needs. You understand the game plan. So guys have to be locked in on the rotations, meaning help the helper, be help side. But once they pass it back out, everybody got to scramble back out and get to their guys before they can catch and shoot, or before they can penetrate into the lane, and open somebody else for a dump off or for a kick out.
Yeah, when I hear coverage, to me, it's just a lot of screen, high pick and roll these days. So a lot of offenses, if you have two shooters, you got to deal with that a certain way. If there's shooters spotted up in the corner, you obviously have to worry about that, like Kelvin's talking about helping the helper. So how you deal with that, if you're fighting over the screen, we've all seen Ivan Karchenkov fight over every single screen like the manliest freshman you've ever seen all year long. Staying with those guys, if they're trying to curl off that screen, DK, and take the ball strong at the rim, try to challenge Mo Krivas, how each individual player, because the best defenses are five guys of the same mind. The best defenses are five guys anticipating where there's going to be help coming from, understanding which of the players on the court can stay with their men, not helping if it's not needed. If you come off your man because you think that your teammate just got beat, but in fact he can recover and be in a decent position on the side or whatnot, then all of a sudden you've left a potential lob threat behind you. You might have left a corner shooter open. So everybody being on the same page, and that'll shift and change within the flow of the game depending on what the offensive player. Bradley's a great example of that. Jaden Bradley will deny the screen often. So he'll have the screen coming at the top of the key, but then decide to inside-out dribble and go the opposite direction because the defense is not anticipating that. So coverage, more or less, all 5 guys being on the same page on the court at all times.
I do want to go back, and we were obviously talking about Jaden Bradley and winning Big 12 Player of the Year and besting, when maybe a lot of people thought an award that would go to A.J. Debonsa. AJ did speak on that on, I believe, Tuesday with Chancellor Johnson from the Big 12. I want to play you what AJ had to say when Chancellor asked him his thoughts on Jaden Bradley winning the Big 12 Player of the Year and not him.
Initial reaction, I was like, oh, damn, I thought I should have won it. I seen I got Freshman of the Year, but when I look back at, record and everything, he was the head of the snake on the #1 team in the conference, heart and soul of the team, senior, so well-deserved.
Congratulations to Jaden Bradley on that as well. I know you have great respect for him, but leading the country in scoring, what did coaches miss on that end?
It's not all about scoring. They were the #3 team in the country. It's kind of like the NBA standings. If you can't really be the MVP. It's kind of like what they're awarded. You can't be the MVP if you're on a losing team. We finished 500, so I should have got more wins.
There you go. Even he said I should have got more wins.
Well, they lost 7 out of 11, right, after Richie Saunders went down. Yeah. So I think without that stretch of the season, A.J. Debonsa is currently and will finish leading the nation in scoring per game. So there's no doubt he's worthy of that. It was just that fall that BYU had in the midseason. They were a top 10, top 15 preseason team, were at that level all of the first half of the season. But after Richie Saunders went down with the injury, they just didn't recover from that.
Which is interesting because the commissioner, and I didn't hear him say this, but apparently he did, and I'll see if I can find that maybe for tomorrow. But he said he believes that A.J. Debonsa should be the national player of the year.
I've heard that as well, yeah.
Yeah. Thoughts on that, Kelvin, real quick?
To me, that don't make no sense to me. I don't make you're not your conference. First of all, you shouldn't even be up for the award if you're not your conference
right.
player of the year. So that's first. And then second, I'm sorry, folks. Yes, he scored a lot of points. I've been watching basketball all my life. The leading scorer didn't always get the MVP.
Do you make your teammates better, Kelvin?
I remember,
right? Do you make your teammates better? In addition to your 23.5 a game, if you're scoring 23.5 a game, how does that translate to your team getting wins? I think is a big question as well.
Yeah, and sometimes the other teams are just better. I remember being in high school, and I never got to win MVP in my conference, and I'm a top-level D1 player, but we had another top-level D1 player that ended up going to the University of Texas. Arizona was recruiting him as well, Carden Dixon, at Lincoln High School in Dallas. But he averaged 12 points a game. I averaged 28. Yeah. And he would win Sophomore of the Year, MVP, and it's because he was on the winning team, and I understood it because that's the way it goes. I was on the second-place team, no lower than the third, but it didn't matter. That's the way it always went. It went to the most important player, and he wasn't the leading scorer on his team.
Pistol Pete, I think, was 3-time SEC Player of the Year, or never SEC Player of the Year and 3-time National Player of the Year. So, when you don't go to the NCAA tournament, it's a problem.
Wildcats fans, what are the big keys for today's game? Our keys to the game are brought to you by Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive Group, the dealership that is different.
All right, Kelvin, keys to an Arizona win in the quarterfinals.
I think they got to be ready for the change in defenses, be ready for the press. We've had some difficulties with it. I think Coach Dawkins seen the videos. I think he's going to try to pressure a little bit to see if he can get some turnovers. I think we have to be ready for the zone as well and be ready to execute some zone offense. I think our defense has to be on point, locked in. I think they're going to be desperate to get one more win to better their positioning for the NCAA tournament. And lastly, I think turnovers are going to be the difference in the game. We have to be on the good side of 10 or less if we really want to have a chance versus this team.
All right, lad, this is a team, ironically, the last time around, Arizona only won the rebounding battle by 1 against Central UCF. So this is a game in which the Wildcats are going to have to be, I think, much stronger on the boards than they were the first time around, because that's their strength. And UCF wants to play downhill with the guards. Themis Folks, you have got to make life miserable for him. Make him try to not get, keep him out of the lane. Make Themis Folks hit jumpers to try to beat you. I think that's going to be extremely important for the Wildcats today. And I think this is going to be an important game for the freshmen on the Arizona Wildcats side of it. Koa Pete, Braden Burries need to establish who they're going to be in the postseason starting today.
Yeah, for me, I mean, rebounding obviously was a huge factor in that last one. It's the guards. The guards did not get rebounds whatsoever in that first game versus UCF. So I'd like to see Arizona, plus 10, something like that in this game. The turnovers will be a problem. That's what UCF's trying to do. So less than 12, like you guys both said, that gets it done. And on the other side, the offensive side of the ball, share it. We all know what this Arizona team under Coach Lloyd's capable of. Share the ball, 25 or more assists. I think we're going to get an easy win versus UCF.
Those are our keys for today's game. The keys to the game. Brought to you by Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive Group, the dealership that is different. Let's take a look at.
All right, let's give you your starting lineups for today's game. Brought to you by Rocking K. Jaden Bradley at one guard. He is a senior, averaging 13 points and 5 assists per contest. Braden Burries out of San Bernardino, guard freshman, 16 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists per contest. The man in the middle is Motiejus Krivas, 7'2", a junior out of Chule, Lithuania, 11 points, 8 rebounds, career high 57 blocks this year. Koa Pete, freshman guard out of Chandler at one forward, not guard. 14 points and 5 rebounds for Koa Pete. And you've got Ivan Kurchinkov at the other forward. He is a 6'7", big man out of Munich, Germany, 10 points and 4 rebounds on the season. Your starting lineups brought to you by Rocking K. That's going to wrap up our pregame show for today. Thanks to everybody. J.W. Madden, Kelvin Efon. My name is David Kelly. Coming up next, it's number 2 Arizona and UCF in the quarterfinals of the Big 12 tournament. Brian Jeffries and Ryan Hansen have the call. We'll talk to you after the game.
Broadway in Tucson presents the 20th anniversary season featuring 7 Tucson premieres, including Disney's Beauty and the Beast, Hell's Kitchen, Moulin Rouge, The Wiz, Back to the Future, Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and more. Secure your signature season tickets today and get the best seats at the lowest prices. Visit BroadwayInTucson.com and secure your 2025-2026 season tickets today.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
Spring is in the air and our warm temperatures are about to turn hot. Now is the time to take advantage of pre-summer savings before the hot summer weather. Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing is offering 5-year, no-interest financing on the installation of green HVAC systems, OAC. Call now for your free estimate, 520-492-0748, or make your appointment online at picturoxcooling.com.
Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
Did you know collecting sports cards is one of the fastest growing hobbies around? Whether you're looking to start or expand your collection, Showtime Cards is your ultimate destination. As one of the leading card shops in the country, they've been serving our community for over 25 years with the best in sports cards and trading card games. From rare finds to the latest releases, Showtime Cards has it all. Check them out at ShowtimeCards.com or visit them today at 5801 East Speedway. And discover why collectors everywhere trust Showtime Cards for their passion.
Day in and day out, we're inundated with commercials asking to review your portfolio or telling you to get a second opinion. This is Natalie Fernandez with Meridian Wealth Management, and I want to share the advice I give people every day. Talk to 3 different advisors at 3 different firms. It's important to understand their differences and find someone you can trust. I want Meridian to be one of your 3, and then you will decide who is best for you. To learn more, call us at 719-1433 today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
From offices and warehouses to retail spaces and restaurants, the right lighting transforms your environment. At Arizona Commercial Lighting, we've been proudly locally owned and operated for nearly 40 years. Our extensive inventory of in-stock lighting solutions is designed to meet both commercial and residential needs, with quality, variety, and value you won't find anywhere else. Visit us at 1436 East 17th Street or explore our offerings online at azcommerciallighting.com. Be sure to ask about available TEP rebates. Arizona Commercial Lighting, powering business through precision lighting.
Up your game in a new Buick or GMC from Royal Buick GMC. At Royal, we always deliver a quality vehicle at a great price. Score a great deal with our no-pressure, non-commissioned sales staff and our transparent online pricing. Plus, Royal offers a 72-hour buyback guarantee. Score big at Royal Buick GMC, the dealership that's different. See dealer for details. Royal Buick GMC in the Tucson Auto Mall or RoyalTucson.com.
JT Auto, where customers are family. Trust your vehicle to JT Auto professional and reliable automotive repair and maintenance services. JT Auto is conveniently located off Fort Lowell and Country Club. Open Monday through Friday. JT Auto is a full-service auto shop with satisfaction guaranteed, offering you the best in tires and wheels, auto repair, oil changes, computer diagnostics, suspension and brake service, and heating and AC. Bring your car to JT Auto, where customers are family. 623-7066. That's 623-7066.
Looking for quality windows without the wait? Come to the Window Depot. We carry a huge selection of Milgard windows, in stock now and ready for pickup. Need something custom? No problem. From new construction to full home replacement, we'll help you order the perfect Milgard windows built to fit your space, style, and budget. Whether you're a homeowner or contractor, the Window Depot makes it easy to get the windows you need fast. Visit thewindowdepot.com to find a location near you and see why we're your Milgard window experts.
When it comes to basketball, nothing beats Wildcat basketball.
Wildcats can dribble it out. Champions of the Big 12, Arizona Wildcats.
This is the Phillips 66 Big 12 Tournament.
Stolen by Korchinkov on a breakaway. There goes Yvonne to the bucket. Slam it home. A walk to the offensive rebound. Play it up good. And he's fouled. Backdoor cut to Burries. Drives the baseline and slams it home. 3-on-1 ahead to Bradley. And shooting open.